What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of Friday Night WrestleCast. I'm your host, Adam Vale. Today, I'm joined by the usual cast, Dana Abercrombie. What's up?
What is up, everybody? Hola.
There you go. We got Ricardo Negro. Gotta roll the R's.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
And Richard Bayley Jr. I want to roll your R. Richard Bayley. No, I can't do it. Richard Bayley Jr.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I felt like there was something going to follow after that.
Yeah.
I was waiting for something. I don't know the way you said it.
He was going to say, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It felt like, the old school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I felt. I was like, all right. So we are covering PayBack 2020. That's happening this Sunday, which is 30th, August 30th. Damn, this month flew by. It's over. That is crazy. So, that happened. SummerSlam and TakeOver. We usually don't do our little rundown pre-shows, but since it's following back-to-back, and here we are a week later for another pay-per-view, we called it, man. We called a lot of these matches. I think almost all of them. I'm trying to think which one I got wrong, but, man, we really did call this one. But, Ricky, you had some memorable ones. So before we even get to the news, let's just get this part out while it's so fresh in our mind. What stood out from those two nights of shows?
Well, I mean, let's talk about Pat McAfee's performance. He's really put on a show.
Surprise, yes, I agree.
Yeah, like I stated.
And we said, I said my prediction: Cole's gonna win, but it's not gonna be a blowout. McAfee's gonna get some offense in, and he looked really good in doing it.
Yeah, but that's why at the end it was all Adam Cole. The one thing that bothers me with his finisher, that the sunrise, right, Panama Sunrise, is that it requires so much setup. Pentagon Jr. also does it. And when you see Pat like hunched over and then like walk over to the corner so he can do it, that it takes the fun out of it, because I'm like, I see what you're doing. You should have planned. And then they talked about it after the fact that they did not prep any of this match. They went in there and they just did it like an old school match, just calling it as they go. And gotta respect Pat for doing that. Because that takes, that's a professional move right there. We got some people, everybody knows about Macho Man and how he liked to go step by step, cover everything, because he wanted things perfect. And some of his matches did look amazing. But you got to respect for a guy who just wants to go out there and wing it and call it through the match. So he gets props for that. Yeah, but I don't know. So you guys liked it? You like that match?
It was wonderful. It was everything I wanted and more. Pat McAfee, he is a talker. He's great on the mic. He's really great to work with in ring. And yes, he is green, but he is that kind of green where you can see room for development.
But
same thing with
Shayna.
I have no idea, but I would love for him to come back and if not, just do commentary, because commentary sucks.
I mean, you could say
we got Barrett now. Come on, things are going up. Got Stu.
Things are medium.
Like a radio host or whatever, or that he's a former punter and everything. The man's an athlete, and he showed some serious athleticism. It surprised me. Definitely surprised me.
Yeah. Definitely did. But I'm just happy, and that's one of the things that I bitch about. I just wanted to make sure Adam Cole looked strong and won, and he did. He had pretty much the majority of the moves happening at the end. He took control of that match, and he dominated, and that's it. He walked away.
That's not what you.
I just want to make a comment. Yes, I will give Pat McAfee his props, but I am so happy that now Adam Cole will actually have a quality match and quality opponents next week on NXT.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. It's back to your regularly scheduled program. Yeah, there we go.
He's no. See, y'all just mean to be mean.
No, not mean to be mean. Right. It's like we don't want these novelties. I just don't like novelty matches.
It's not a novelty. He proved himself that he is capable.
That's fine, unless he's coming back. But right now, it seems like it was a one-off. It was just something that he wanted to do, whether to promote his show or I don't see how WWE got anything out of this, but whatever. It happened. It sounds like more of he was a friend of the show. He's friend with Triple H. He's friends with some of the boys. Of course, King Corbin and the whole thing. What was it? They were roommates when they played in NFL or something like that.
McAfee and Corbin were roommates.
Yeah.
I think probably when they were on the Colts together.
So messed up.
And it's funny that they keep saying it's like, oh, Corbin made it as a full play. Plenty of wrestlers have made it from football. That's not unheard of. I mean, hell, we got Goldberg. It's still debatable if people consider him a wrestler, but hey, he made it. He is a name. He still made it. No, a lot of people bitch about it, but you know what? He still made it, and that was a guy came from football. Hell, we got our boy that we were going to talk about later tonight, Roman Reigns, came from football.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
He tried out for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. Did he? Did he try? I know he played college ball, but I didn't know he tried it for the pros.
He tried out for the Minnesota Vikings. The same
thing with Brock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Online, you'll see him with a Vikings uniform.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, now what else? Let's see. I'll jump in on some of memorable moments, especially for TakeOver. That Keith Lee match, it didn't really. Yeah, I wasn't really into that one with Karrion Kross. Something about it, I don't know. And it's not like some people always argue, oh, two big men can't really work together well, blah blah blah. You need that off balance. No, big men can work together. Keith Lee and Dijakovic and Priest and there's all the big guys. They all work well. Something here was missing. This chemistry, something, I don't know. And even the finish looked a little sloppy. That was off the top rope, and maybe that's what led to the injury. But it just didn't look right. And then, all right, he got the clean finish. There we go. And that's it. I knew once that happened, yeah, there you go. Keith Lee's getting called up. That's it. He's gone. There's no other reason for it. They didn't leave any hint that there could be a rematch and that they were going to revisit this matchup. No, it's not happening. It's done. So I wasn't that impressed. What about you guys? How'd you feel about that main event and the way Keith Lee?
Boring. It was the very first TakeOver where I would usually everything is really great and exciting and when the matches are just solid, and it just everything felt off. It's very disappointing. It felt like.
Well, no. Continue.
No, I think it has to do. Remember, a lot has changed from what NXT used to be to what it is now. We even have 5 writers for one show, so everything just felt off and overworked, and I didn't like it.
And and what you just said, that this is exactly why TakeOver felt that way, because NXT is not the same. It's in my opinion, a very lackluster show, although I'm sure that Adam and Ricky may disagree, but NXT has not been very good as of late. But next week should be a very good match. But we'll see.
I think there's just plenty of talent that's on the main roster doing nothing that should go back down. I think Alexander should go back. I think Ricochet should go back. I would like to see Kevin Owens go back. I think that's even Bobby Roode with his glorious gimmick. Bring these people back, because obviously I don't blame them. It's just how they're written and how Vince portrays them. They're not in the best light on the main roster, and they shine brighter in NXT. And if they want to recognize NXT as a brand, like they're saying, it's not the stepping stone anymore, then send them back.
Yeah. I agree, and let me just add in another quick point, because when we talked about the NXT predictions last week, I believe there was a question that I had asked y'all, or we spoke about it briefly, which is, why isn't the Cruiserweight match on this card, and why isn't the NXT tag titles on this card? And we got our answer, because they wanted to put them matches on regular TV, which is fine, but the Cruiserweight title has been constantly undervalued, even when they had the Cruiserweight title on the main roster. So they're not doing anything with that, which is very disappointing.
The Cruiserweight title has only felt prestigious one time since they brought it back, and that was when Hack, who was then known as Neville, held it. Mm-hmm. He made it seem like a big deal.
Yeah.
Things of the man making the title. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that anymore.
Yeah, and ever since they moved to the NXT, we thought it was going to get that little polish on it, and never did. Did. It's still kind of sad. But the Finn Balor match, that was pretty good.
Big big ups to Damian Priest for getting.
Yes.
Yep.
Man, there were some spots in that match that I, in my mind, thought some of these guys just legit hurt themselves. What's his name? Cameron.
Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes. That looks painful. I was like, this is it. He's hurt. He's hurt. He's not moving after this. It's done.
And you saw the spot where Velveteen Dream fell off the very top of the ladder and into the crowd?
Yeah. That was another one. I was like, all right. He went too far. He went too far.
That one was hilarious. Like, I was concerned, but laughing at the same time.
I always get concerned with these, and I don't care what anyone says. Oh, well, these ladders, they're gimmick and stuff. It doesn't matter. You can still get hurt. You can still get hurt. But, hey, it happened. It was good. Priest won. I'm glad he's champ. Hopefully, I'll have a long title reign. And that move that Finn Balor does, was it 1916?
Yeah.
That, I don't remember it looking so devastating like the way he's doing it now. It looks like it's just, I'm going to lift you directly up and drop you on your head. That looks so...
right?
It's beyond a brainbuster. It looks just... Brainbuster always had like that little bend right at the end. So you're like, all right, you're protecting. It looks like there's no protection. Like, and we know he is doing it. He's just doing an amazing job selling this. Because I've watched it in slow-mo. And it's almost like when he does the coup de grace, where it's like, he's putting the weight back. So that way it's not all. But he does it so well. Because he lifts up so much height. He brings the legs up to his chest. So you're like, oh my God, it's like a cannonball into someone's chest cavity. But it's just the way he does it. And it's the same thing. Yep, keep going. You go.
I do just have one criticism of that particular move. In that match, you're selling that Thatcher has hurt your leg. So there should have been some struggling to do that finisher when he got to that point at the end. But it's like, no, I think I'm fine. And then I'm going to pin you, and then that's it. But
you gotta go with the disbelief. It's the adrenaline. The adrenaline.
The adrenaline, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like when Hulk Hogan hulks up. What do you mean? He's been getting his ass beat for like 5 minutes. How is he hulking like this? But that's it. That's all the prayers. He could feel it from the crowd. People praying for him to win. I was telling you guys right before, yesterday and the day before, my son, my 4-year-old son, his favorite movie right now is No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan and Zeus. He loves watching this damn movie. Right? And he calls him Hulk Hoagie. He was like, I gotta see Hulk Hoagie. I'm like, okay, so we put this on. He gets a kick out of the scene. If you remember when Hulk Hogan jumps out of the limousine, when they lock him into the limousine and he like bursts out from the sunroof.
Jeez.
Yeah, he gets a kick out. But there's a part he also gets a kick. I don't know. He's got his own little sense of humor, where Hulk Hogan's brother. The whole story is Randy, his brother, got beat up by Zeus, and he's in a wheelchair. It looks like he's paralyzed. Got a neck brace and the whole thing, and he's looking at the ring and seeing Hulk Hogan get beat up by Zeus. But then Zeus sees that, and then he gets out of the ring and he tips over the wheelchair and drops him and starts kicking him. And my son cracks up. He's cracked up. He tipped over the guy in the chair who's hurt. I'm like, all right, we're gonna have problems when you get older. But now,
you'll love Naked Gun with O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, there you go. He's got that sense of humor. This is what he likes. But yeah, that Hulk Hogan, the hulking, at that moment he hulked up, and that's it. This is Finn Balor's version. It's like, ah. But I don't know if you saw it. It was apparently in an interview this week. He said he's never bringing back the Demon.
Oh, really? So, I didn't see that.
Yeah, look that up. It was on, I think it was on Pro Wrestling Sheets. I think they had it. If it wasn't there, then it was Cage Side Sheets. It was one of them. There was someone, they had an interview with him, and he was talking about his future and then with the Demon, and he was like, he doesn't see that coming back. There's no reason for it. And I can see it for a few reasons. I can see for one other reason.
He'll come back eventually.
Yeah, I'm sure. Never say never in wrestling. But I can see one key reason, and it takes a lot of time to do that paint work. And he doesn't do it. He talked about it. They always have to hire somebody whoever's in the town. It's not someone that travels with them. They contact body art, sculpting, painting facilities or whatever, and they come out and they do that work. It takes time. It takes money. So it's not something he could really control.
Couldn't Jeff do it?
Jeff, well, right, Jeff needs to travel. And yeah, Jeff does his own little face paint and does that whole thing. Can he do the whole thing with the jaws on the chest?
Yeah.
Maybe.
You've never seen Jeff's work.
I've
Jeff
seen
is
his
an
painting.
artist.
No, oh yes, I've seen that. But I'm just saying it's different when you do from a canvas to body art. You know, it's different. But whatever, who knows? All I know is that that's it. If we looked it up, if I knew I was going to bring it up, I'll post in a link or I'll share it on later. Or then if anything, I'll bring it up again next time. But it's definitely out there. Look that up. There is an interview where he talks about that, and that was this week. Anything else you guys want to talk about from that or SummerSlam?
Oh, let's get into SummerSlam real quick.
All right. What stood out for you in the SummerSlam? besides the main event, I guess we could just smash that out. But yeah, you know what? No. Okay, let's build up. What?
Talk about
yeah. Go ahead. Well, before real quick. Go ahead. Say something. What stood out besides the main event from SummerSlam?
Besides the main event, I was disappointed that Dominic didn't turn heel and turn into Dominic Guerrero, or anything like that. But
that whole time during the match, I was thinking that what you were saying. I was like, I wonder if Ricky's right. I wonder if this is what that means. And then, no, for real. I was like, well, maybe it's gonna. And then you know what? What stood out and kept putting no, is because he's green. He's too green. He can't carry a match like that yet. When he's gonna do the tag thing for a while with his dad, and I think once they feel he's at that point, then it's like, all right, you can hang with your dad in a match. Now we're gonna do this nasty feud, and you're gonna be the worst son ever. But because when he did the frog splash, I give him credit for doing it, but it doesn't look like a frog splash. It looks like I'm kind of nervous crossbody, and it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time.
So I would like to make a comment.
Okay.
By far, one of the worst things about SummerSlam, that was a horrible conclusion to the Drew McIntyre-Randy Orton match. And they were right. You won't see it coming. In the sense of you won't see a backslide pin to end that match. Complete garbage.
It was unexpected, definitely unexpected. But you know what? The outcome is what we all wanted. We wanted Drew to continue as champ. We wanted him to win. That's a fear, because that's the thing with the Randy Orton character.
What is that going to happen?
No, I didn't want that. Don't speak for me.
What do you mean? Why would you don't like Randy Orton? Why would you?
I like Randy Orton. My issue was that it was unfair due to the whole events and circumstances of what happened with McIntyre and how he won, and that it was crowdless. But I really feel that his run is just bleh right now.
What would stand out for you then? What would make it wow out for you?
I don't know, just a feud that is good.
But that's not his fault. It's
not his fault. And even if you can't even blame WWE at this point, because the whole thing with the crowd situation, it's just one of those circumstances where it is what it is. And so it just feels that he needs a better feud. He does not have one.
Okay. Yeah, no, he does not. That he does not. You were gonna say something, Rich?
Oh no. The only thing I was gonna say is that at least the feud is still ongoing, according to what happened on Monday Night Raw. So we'll see. Obviously, there's going to be another match. When we get into. I'll say more about that when we get into the other pay-per-view. But that's all I had to say about that.
Anything else, Ricky, that stood out for SummerSlam besides the main event?
Mandy Rose beating Sonya clean.
That's what I wanted. I like Mandy Rose look. Something about it just had like this Ghost in the Shell vibe. I'm like, oh shit, and she just looked like real pissed off, and it's something worked for me. I'm like, even both of them with Sonya, I like both of them, and I liked where they were going with this. Yeah,
isn't she like a Basic Instinct character or something, like the way it looks?
It was a combination. I got that and the Ghost in the Shell. Those are the two. I think it's because of the short blonde hair, the sort of wet hair, and then with the skin tight outfit and stuff. But something about it, and she was getting real gritty. It just worked for me. Something about it worked. So I was like, okay. I wasn't sure what was going on with the table. I think that whole spot messed up, and they just said, forget the table. We're not going to do it.
She couldn't lift it.
Well, there was a lifting, and then when they finally
she used
set
all
it
her
up,
brain cells.
there you go. Well, you know,
she could lift the table.
She took some bad hits. She took some hits, and she was she wasn't sure what's happening. It happens, you know. But yeah, it was all right. It was all right. I like it. It was all right.
I loved the match. I thought she did great. My whole thing was she looked like, she couldn't return home, and they just threw together whatever outfit that you can put in, randomly, and that's what she was wearing. But I do appreciate how Sonya must have really been training her because she actually wrestled, and she had that emotion and that grit, and I don't know if it was also accumulated with everything that went on with because remember they came to murder her.
Yeah. And I'm sure
murder her and kidnap Sonya. So yeah,
that's and that stern look on her face throughout the entire match. That's what I liked. I was like, she should stay like that all the time. I don't want to see no smile. I don't want to see no smirk and none of that heel stone face. Keep the stone face. That works with the look and everything. That's perfect. All right, and I think that's it. We'll just because we'll get into all the other stuff. But man, that main event, we'll talk about it after real quick. But I'm telling you, I don't see him as a heel. So in regards to Roman Reigns, he's not a heel. All right, so real quick, do you have any news pieces that you want to cover before we get into Payback?
Oh, okay. Very quickly because it's kind of been a little dry with the news. We were supposed to have a what do you call it? Remember? During WrestleMania, we always have a Hall of Fame event.
Yes.
And it was supposed to be the NWO and Batista, the Bella Twins, and a bunch of other people who was going to be inducted.
Oh, yeah.
Well, remember that one?
Yes.
Well, it seems that it has completely been scrapped.
So there is no Hall of Fame this year?
There is no 2020 class.
No 2020 class.
No, what the plan? Yeah.
You don't mean that they're still inducted? They just don't have any.
They're still inducted,
Oh,
which is like really unfortunate. They're still in the fame, but what they're going to do is that because they don't know when people are allowed to come back, like regular, that the plan is to induct the 2020 class into the 2021 class. So you get it. So instead, you graduate in 21. So therefore, there's no new 21 class. It's just the old 2020
I just don't
class.
understand why they can't do this on a network. They could have just did on a network and pulled up just like what we're doing now with the big screens and everyone. They could have done something like this. I don't know, but.
Well, they could have, and had just the wrestlers in the audience.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly. This could have been done.
Money. If you look at it, because WWE is really broke right now. I had to fire everyone, but money. It is too, because remember it's a big thing. It's merchandise. Everyone buys tickets.
Ricky and Rich, did you guys ever go to that? Because I know you used to do the whole Hall of the WrestleMania packages. Did you do the Hall of Fame before that?
No, that's the one thing we didn't do.
Yeah. Watched it in a hotel room and ate pizza.
There we go.
Yeah,
good pizza. That everybody lost.
Yeah. Our Hall of Fame moment was watching Bret Hart get attacked.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Very, very disturbing with the fan. So
super fans. This is always a thing. This should always happen. See, remember that one? I always remember the best. Well, not the best, but just what happens when a fan tries to get involved and just gets knocked out. And it's not the one that everyone always refers to, which is the Triple H and Steve Austin. It's the one with the cage in WCW. With Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, and Macho Man was knocked out, and I forgot who was beating on Hulk Hogan, but he was tied up and he was getting beat up, and a fan just jumps onto the cage and climbed in over the top, and Macho Man, who was supposed to be knocked out, gets up real quick and just knocks him out. Just one punch sends him flying across the ring. It gives enough time for refs to come in and they grab him, and then you see Macho Man go back to playing his role of being knocked out. He lays back on the ground. Oh, sheesh. That was priceless. Just the way he saw it. But man, it's just those crazy fans. Crazy fans. It's been around for a long time. All right. Okay, that's one part. All right, what's the next one?
Oh, and then we also have Chris Jericho. He won a huge settlement with WWE, and he is officially allowed to be Y2J again.
That was his? He owned it?
That was his. Well, it was WWE's, and they had a trademark agreement, and so he's now allowed to use the Y2J term.
I wonder if he would use that again. There's no point. I mean, it's gone. It was good for the time because of what we're dealing with.
Is it because he wants to separate himself? Yeah.
I guess.
But
I never say never. I still have a feeling he's going to go back. I still see it at some point. He's going to go back.
And he also has Lionheart, which I can see Lionheart now. That would be nice.
Now that was always that was his from when he was in Japan and ECW. Lionheart, yep. Chris Jericho. So he should own that.
Yeah. So, yes.
Okay.
So that was a very... And then the last one we have is... Oh, and my computer froze. Sorry. And the last one, they updated with the Sonya Deville kidnapping case. She went back to court, which, further explains why she had to leave Raw. Or WWE, as it is, because this is going to be ongoing. Mm-hmm. We don't know when the whole case is going to be settled. But that during the case, she's finally got her temporary protection injunction, which means that legally he can't come near her, even though he's in jail now. It's just all legal steps that everything has to go through. And that he has been charged with aggravated stalking, which is a third-degree felony, armed burglary of a dwelling, which is punishable by life, armed kidnapping for ransom or reward, because he was trying to take her hostage, and they argued that he now has to pay if he wants to get paroled, it will be a $2 million bail, which was denied because they had to go through the whole order of protection.
So crazy.
This will be a long case. So, yep.
It's horrible. Just horrible. It's so horrible. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was some of the three biggest news that we want to bring up and just share with the peoples. And now let's get into this. We got another pay-per-view. Payback 2020. 6 matches on this card. You know what? I think it's going to change, though. Something about what we saw tonight, Friday Night SmackDown, the whole thing going on with Sami Zayn coming back, saying that he is the champion still, right? The Intercontinental champion. He never lost it, and da-da-da. I was like, yeah, we know. But I loved the face that Jeff made. He was like, what's going on? Almost like this was not in the script. I was like, wait, what? Wait, what? What's that? Wait, what? Like, he was just as confused. So that was priceless right there. Because then even after that, he gets kicked in the face. Right? But then he gets up and he looks at the crowd and he starts blowing kisses and stuff. It's like he didn't know he was still on camera. I don't know. Because that's usually something they'll do off camera. It's like, all right, we're off camera, commercial break. All right, thanks, everybody. I had a good time. See you next week. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. But, yeah, I have a feeling that they're going to throw in a match with Sami Zayn on this card for some reason. I don't know. Something stood out. I could see it turning into a triple threat, throwing Sami Zayn with AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy in there.
Yeah.
I was so confused. Does he still technically have the belt?
That's the thing. No one mentioned it. There's no general manager anymore, so we don't know. And Vince didn't acknowledge it. He didn't get involved.
Why was Vince there?
Because he wasn't there on his birthday. And remember,
his birthday was Monday.
People bitched. So he showed up to this one.
There's no reason for him to show up at all. That makes me not want to watch the show because it's even a more reminder that you have your hand and your foot and your toes in the thing.
I don't know. But yeah, it's a good question. Who knows? They're gonna have to figure something out, or they make a different belt. Because remember he kept emphasizing he's really intercontinental because he's from Canada and all that stuff. So. Yep. But so let's get into this match number 6. I don't think anyone really cares about this one. and I really have no interest, even with all the build-up. And this is the Matt Riddle versus King Corbin. All right?
Bro.
Who is into this? It's just a standard match. Anybody here into this match, this feud? Anyone?
I feel like I shouldn't say anything then. Fine.
You're not into it. All right, Ricky, you're into this? Like, that's the thing. It's one thing to say, oh, yeah, I want to watch a good wrestling match. I'm all cool for it. I don't even feel that with this. I don't care. It's not Matt Riddle. It's mainly the King Corbin, the gimmick, all of this, the ransom, King's ransom, all that shit sounds ridiculous. None of it ever carried over with me. And I felt like they just did this downhill slope from when Matt Riddle showed up and instantly had that feud with AJ Styles. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. We're going in that direction with him. And then, no. He veers off to the left, and now he's hanging out with King Corbin and doing this bullshit. And it's not doing anything.
It feels like it's one of those weird forced situations. And I know that they kind of tried to explain it weeks ago with the pairing of King Corbin and Shorty G, but it just doesn't feel authentic. It just feels random. And the thing with Matt Riddle, though, I don't have a problem with that feud. I'm just confused with Shorty G.
Mm-hmm. Now, Rich, we know that you just recently purchased your King Corbin action figure. Now, when you look at this action figure, do you say, wow, I wish I had a Matt Riddle action figure next to him so that way I can recreate this match? Is that something you look forward to?
Well, I will say this. If I purchased that action figure, then I would have to seriously question what I'm doing with my life to even bother getting getting toys.
Well, Rich, I'll just help you out in that hunt because save your time. There is no King Corbin action figure. I've already done that search. That's right. I do have the figure. I've already done the search. There's just the bartender version of him, and of course the lone wolf. But there is no King Corbin. So now we can keep going.
Well, I'm sure that King Corbin will be in Battlegrounds next month.
Oh yes, I'm sure he will be.
I'm still excited for that.
I am excited, and I brought my one concern, or something I hope you can turn off, as I see more and more footage of this game. And I love All Stars. I love the whole over the top. Nothing wrong with that. It's the nonstop inflamed character. They're doing their move, always on fire, flying in the air and stuff. I don't want to see that all the time. Now, I saw some footage when they do this Royal Rumble Battle Royale mode, and that's turned off. Maybe it has to do with the graphics. They can't have it on when there's so many characters or whatever it is. But when it comes to the tag and singles, it's always on, or at least what they're showing us. It's as if your character is always on fire, which reminds me of like NBA Jam. He's on fire. Your whole body's on fire. And I just don't want to see that. I want to see the move. Like, I saw this one really cool move with Aleister Black doing a flying knee off the top turnbuckle. And he's all on fire, and it's like the fire looks like it's burning the guy's face. I'm like, but I want to see the knee contact the face. The flame is too distracting. I feel it's too much. But hopefully we can turn that off. That'll be cool if there was an option to turn that off. That's just me. But yeah, no, either way, I'm excited. Too many graphics. No, besides that, I'm okay. I'm all for it. So, what are we talking about? Oh, yeah, we're talking about King Corbin going to be in that game, but he doesn't have an action figure. All right. So, this match, Rich, are you excited for this match?
Of course not.
Oh, of course not. Okay.
Oh, no. I mean, this is clearly a downgrade for Matt Riddle, who just had a brief feud with AJ Styles.
That's what I'm saying. Now, tonight, he won against Shorty G again, right?
Yeah.
See, now, what if we go based off of this? Usually that means that then Corbin is going to get his comeuppance and he's going to win at this event, right?
That's a strong possibility. I mean, the way I see it is, if they want this to be the 50-50 booking, then Corbin is going to be the one, because I don't know what plans they have for Matt Riddle after this feud. So
that's the problem. Because I see the same thing. I have a feeling this is going to drag out like they did with the Roman Reigns King Corbin feud. With the dog food and all. That went on for months. And I feel like this is what they're going to do now. This is just going to keep going. This whole King's Ransom and all this BS. So, I don't know. Ricky, are you hyped for this? What do you have for this? What do you think is going to happen?
Definitely not. So the thing was like, I didn't realize that I would miss the Lone Wolf version of Corbin until I've seen the Constable Corbin and now the King Corbin, and just doesn't do it for me. And
yeah, his gimmicks have been sliding down. That's it. They're all going. I mean, right after
like
this,
his hair.
He's trying. He's really trying to make it work, but I just don't not feeling it.
All he needs to do now is to get arrested, and they'll write him off for a while, send him to prison, and then he comes back as ex-con Corbin. Then there you go with the jumpsuit and stuff, like nails.
So, unfortunately, this is going to be the first match between these two, and it's not going to be the last.
Yeah.
I think that with that in mind, they're not going to have Riddle just beat Corbin right away. I think you're going to have Corbin win, do some shenanigans. They're going to continue the feud, probably for another month or so. I think Corbin's going to win this fight.
Somebody moving? I hear something moving around. I don't know what's moving. All right, that is stop. It was just a lot of moving. It was like, all right, let me rearrange this furniture. I need this armoire to the left of me. All right, so you think? All right, so you're hoping for the finish. You're hoping Matt Riddle overcomes this. You don't think it's going to happen?
I'm hoping Riddle just ends it right there. But
right, we all right. I think we could all agree on that. We hope Matt Riddle turns this into a squash match and just ends it. I doubt it because it looks like WWE is very high on Corbin. The word is that he's very safe to work with. A lot of people like to work with him because he's safe, and he has a good attitude. And that's it. We're not putting him down on his work ethics. We're just putting him down on the gimmick and how we're not into the story. So that's it. Yeah. Hey, Lone Wolf, I'm all for that. If I was in that writing room and they're like, hey, we're not sure what to do. King Corbin, should we keep going or should we return to one of the old ones? Go ahead. Return to the old one. Bring that back. Hell, bring that back. Do a little tweak with him. Put him with the Forgotten Sons because pretty much everyone's forgotten them because of what happened. And then he could be their new leader. And that'll all work because that was the whole thing, the biker gimmick, right? That was what was going on. So we could do something like that, or bring back Bubba Ray and bring Aces to Eights, and then do that whole thing that they had in Impact. I don't know. That's a stretch, not happening. But yeah, we all hope Matt Riddle walks away not just with a victory, but hopefully squashes this, and this does not continue as a feud. But most likely it won't. That's it for that one. All right, next match, number 5. This one could be interesting. This is the Mysterios. We got Dominic and Ray versus Seth Rollins and Murphy. We don't say Buddy Murphy, right? It's just Murphy. And it's a tag team match. This, to bounce off of what we were just talking about with Matt Riddle and Corbin, constantly what we think might be an ongoing feud, I think this is going to be an ongoing feud. That we're going to see all kinds of variations of tag matches with these two. Just so that way they can keep working with Dominic to help him build that ring, not the ring rust. What's the word? What's the best wording for it? Just that experience. Just get that experience to get his bump counts up and just to get that.
Learn how to wrestle.
Yes, I feel like he does know how to wrestle. He should have at this point. He's been with his dad he lived with his dad. His dad, I'm sure, would wrestle with him. I know that when he was in Lucha Underground, there was these little specials that I saw on the El Rey Network. And they had talked about Dominic and Ray. And Ray had talked about how his son wanted to be a football player. And he was going down that path and had no plans of doing wrestling. And some things didn't work out. And then he said, you know what? You ready for this? You want to try? I said, yeah. And he said, don't do it half-ass. If you're going to jump in, if I'm going to bring you into my world, then we're going to go 100% in. And that's when Dominic said, no, this is it. I'm for life. We're doing this. He said, okay. And that was it. So he made that turning point. So that was a few years ago. Right? What was that? Maybe now 2016? Well, not 2016. Lucha Underground, when that whole thing happened. So, and he was popping up. He was popping up in matches, and he was doing that. And Mil Muertes was throwing him around and stuff. And he was taking bumps. He was getting there. And then we heard that he was with Lance Storm, right? He went to Canada and trained under Lance Storm. So he's getting the training, and you would think, and I'm sure this is another reason why Vince is putting him in this spot, because I don't think he's on that level that he should be on this program. Period. Just this is Raw. This is it. This is upper echelon. You got a lot of these wrestlers that have worked the indies for decades to get to this point. It's clear that he's getting the pass because of his dad, and that's everyone can respect it because they respect Ray, but they also respect that Ray is going to teach him the proper way to do things. So we hope it all for the best, right? But the thing is, the only thing that throws a little wrench into that is that he doesn't wrestle his dad's style. He's a bigger guy, and he's going to do his own thing. And can he be taught that from his dad? I'm sure he can to a certain point. I don't know. I just hope that everyone just takes Dominic under their wing. Everyone in the locker room. I'm sure Seth is doing it. We're seeing it now with what he's doing in the ring with him and Buddy Murphy. I mean, they're making him look amazing in the ring. They're selling his stuff like as if he was the perfect 10. This is nonstop. Look at Dominic pull this off. So I just hope that it does eventually materialize that he gets to that level. If he does, that'll be great. Because think about unless I'm wrong with this, when Randy Orton showed up, he was like perfect out the box. I don't remember ever seeing him like, he's just a wrestler's kid who's trying to make it. Do you guys remember that when he showed up with Evolution and stuff?
Yeah, I do remember that.
He was still solid, right? He was always a solid performer. I don't remember him ever being like, he's just so green. Look at it. He's just Bob Orton's kid.
Yeah. I mean, he was in developmental the same time as John Cena and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he was
right?
that. Yeah, he was. That's it. He was there. Dominic hasn't had that. He's been alongside his dad from Lucha Underground and to doing this.
Yeah,
he hasn't had that time of separation and just going through the grind and training. So I don't know if it's a plus or a minus. It could be a minus. It could be a plus because he's under his dad. And I mean, hey, your dad is. It's one thing when you have a retired dad who's a wrestler. He's like, yeah, I show you the ropes. There's nothing when you have an active one. And he's like, come on, we're gonna do these matches together. We're gonna pull this off. So who knows? Anyway, I hope this works out. But go ahead, Rich. Give your predictions. What do you think of this match, this feud?
Well, I honestly am already fatigued and tired of this feud because they had a match on Monday Night Raw. We know what happened with that, with Retribution randomly showing up to attack Rey Mysterio and his son, and yet no one in the back was available to help.
Yeah. They have no friends in the back. You know what? Everybody already left. Everybody left. They went to the rules of staying in the back. That's voided out, and so they went to the hotel.
So either everyone left or they said, you know what? Wait a second. Rey Mysterio says he doesn't know if he's going to wrestle again. So therefore, we don't have to get involved because he's not really wrestling. He's just getting beat down. So, and
a real beat down. He took a legit bump on the top of his head there. He was showing pictures of a nasty gash. I wonder who pulled that one off. Who do you think did that one?
Dominic Dijakovic.
I think it was him. That's it. Blend the big man.
Well,
right?
they revealed who like 5 of the people were.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that changes from week to week.
It wasn't Chelsea Green.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't her. So we'll have to see how that turns out. But as for this match, if I had to make a guess, I will say maybe Dominic and Ray will get the win. The thing is that they have already announced on Monday Night Raw we're getting Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins again. So this match could very well it could end in a disqualification, But that's why I say I'm getting tired of this feud because the stuff between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio has been going on ever since it was announced that Becky's pregnant. That was about a couple months ago. So it's just I would hope going into the fall you're going to start to change up the storyline. So I want Dominic to turn, but I don't think it's going. I guess it's not going to happen yet. But I mean, I don't know. But yeah, go to Ricky because I'm curious who he thinks is going to win, as well as Dana as well.
All right, there you go, Ricky. What do you think?
3.5 months. They've been doing this feud between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio for 3.5 months. I don't care about it anymore.
He's lost an eyeball. He's got all these. He's been handcuffed.
With the freaking eye for an eye match.
They almost beat down his wife on the ramp. That was going to get gruesome.
And by the way, Ricky, just remember this important point for the sake of consistency. Rey Mysterio is not cleared to wrestle because he said, "Oh well, because of this eye injury," and then you see him wrestling. Yet tonight on SmackDown, AJ Styles, I'm not able to wrestle because I got hit in the head with a cast.
What was it? What was the French guy, the pirate guy who had a patch for an eye? Remember, he lost an eyeball. He wrestled with one eye. You could wrestle with one eye. Then we had Zach. Remember Zach with one leg? He wrestled with one leg.
Yeah. The number one wrestler in PWI, by the way, wrestled with one eye.
You see?
Yeah. Rey Mysterio is a wimp. You gotta wrestle through it, man. Wrestle through it. But just go. End the misery. I just don't care. Put
your left hand up to cover the blind spot. That's what I do. I love peripheral my left eye, and I put my left hand all the time up. My wife swings at me, left hand up. Block. Bow. There you go. Doesn't leave a mark on my face, so I'm okay.
The other thing is we just got this match on Monday. We just got this match between the Mysterios and Rollins and Murphy. We just got the match. It ended in a no contest. So they're doing it again. I didn't care about it Monday. I don't care about it today. They didn't turn Dominic on Monday, so it's clear, like you said, they're going to give him time, let him develop and all that stuff. They should have had Dominic down in NXT. They should have put Rey Mysterio in NXT. Have him develop down there. Do it that way.
It's still there. At least they can still send Dom at some point. I still think he should get some time away and just become his own man. But whatever. Yes.
But they're not doing that. Like right now, it's like he's clearly like Ray's son. So they'll get to a point where like he needs to establish that he is his own man, but he's not there yet.
They just introduced him.
I'm pretty sure that whatever deal Ray has with WWE, that was a part of the deal. That his son has to stay there, and then maybe not. What may not go to NXT.
Shoot, I'm pretty sure the deal was you sign me, then you definitely sign my son. So that's not even an option. It's not like, all right, we want to sign you. No,
you sign both of us or none of us.
Exactly.
Well, they technically didn't sign Ray yet. He doesn't have a contract.
They definitely doing it with all this stuff.
They have an agreement of some sort.
Yeah, they definitely have an agreement because they're still going with it. If not, he would just be off camera.
I'm just going to get this out of the way because I'm tired of talking about this.
There we go. All right.
Mysterios will win this matchup, and then they'll continue it for another month, and I just don't care.
All right. We'll know when he signs when we get the action figure for Dominic. We already have the Ray. It's in the ring downstairs, so that is something that's happening. All right. So, Dana, for this match, what do you have?
Here's the thing. This feud, yes, it is tiresome, but I don't understand when people complain and say that they want development and Paul Heyman's 2 years that it takes to develop a star, and then you complain about this feud, which has only been going on for 4 months. So, yes, you can say it's tiresome, but I don't have a problem with it. And that's only because of the son, Dominic. He offers something that is new and it could be interesting when you get him in the mix. We're not going to see him betray his father yet because we just got introduced technically, even though we've been watching him since he was a kid. But in realms of this storyline, he's new in terms of WWE because everything that doesn't happen before WWE doesn't mean anything. You've never existed until you came into WWE. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh no, I have a comment to make. I'm gonna let you finish first.
So in this regard, this is a brand new wrestler. I have no problem with this continuing for several more months, and even probably into the Royal Rumble. I feel that, again, we have to wait and see where it comes with Dominic's character growth. I don't want them having any belts because they don't need any belts or anything right now. again, I don't have any problems with this. I do feel that they will win these. What is this? Payback. You know, it's called Payback for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, they got their behind kicked by random ninjas, and
there we go.
didn't go that great.
That's true.
There you go.
So
pay that back.
So let me just make this quick comment. I don't know what the long-term plan is for Dominic and Ray in terms of the writing, etc. But I will say this: I hope that Rey Mysterio is allowed input as to how this storyline plays out, because one thing I do notice about Rey Mysterio, since he has been back, whenever he has to cut a promo on camera, he always does an excellent job of selling the promo, whether it's about his family or about his son or whatever. He always does a great job with this stuff. So I hope that he has some creative input as to how this storyline is going to play out if Dominic eventually does turn, because if not, then it's all garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. With this on my end, I whatever. Let it go and see where it's gonna grow with this. I'm not sure what they plan on doing this. I still think that my boy the Dutch Destroyer, Aleister Black, is gonna get involved in some way. I think he's going to get involved, whether it's he's doing something with Seth or something's gonna happen. But he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Well, for now. Well, go ahead.
Kevin Owens. Aleister Black just turned heel on Kevin Owens, so I think that's the program that Alice is going to have right now.
They're just going to do it. Yep. I just felt like it was still something there. Remember, for the longest time, he was running in to save the Mysterios, and then he stopped, as we talked about. He no-showed when they were getting their ass whoopings. So that's why I feel like at some point something's going to happen, or maybe they're going to... It's not like you can see him in the audience. Like, is he there in the third row eating popcorn? Help me. And he's not going to run down. I don't know. But, whatever. We'll see what happens with this. I have a feeling this is going to keep going, and whatever happens at this match isn't going to be the end. And you even said, that it's been confirmed that they're going to have a match, Ray and Seth, at Raw?
That's what, on Monday Night Raw.
So it's a singles match?
Yeah.
There you go. So then maybe something happens, and Dominic gets taken out in his match. Something goes down. Who knows? His eye, maybe. But you know what? Dominic is taking bumps. He's taking a lot of bumps, and that's part of wrestling. It's not all about just giving; it's the taking. And so he's getting his bumps in. So hopefully it all works out. We'll see. I'm indifferent with the whole thing. I just want to see where it goes. Yeah. All right. And this one, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen, because a part of me's happy, and then a part of me's like confused. And that is match. Where are we? Number 4. Keith Lee, Randy Orton. This is a singles match. Here it is. Keith Lee just got called up. He lost. We talked about it. TakeOver. Okay, fine, clean loss. He shows up here. Boom. Comes down to the ring. Not with Bask in his glory, but some other whack music. Kind of sucks. Because that song was really hyped. That song always got me hyped for Keith Lee. It was perfect for him. Bask in his glory. Keith Lee. That whole thing worked, and it's gone. It was part of his gimmick. It was very much a part of it. To me, it was no different than when you would hear Hulk Hogan's music. Dan, 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 dan. It was like, I'm a real... You're singing the lyrics. All right, we get it. It was the same thing. You hear this, you start singing along with the lyrics. Anyway, it's gone. So I'm glad that he's been called up. I'm glad he's being recognized as a main event. That's awesome. But I'm nervous that they put him against Randy Orton, who just lost clean at SummerSlam. So he has a big match coming, and I just don't know if I hear something. You hear that?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know.
It sounds like someone's changing TV channels on an old tube TV. You hear it? It's like
entrance.
That is
no
weird.
No one hears things.
We hear something. It was weird. Some weird static.
I don't hear anything.
We hear something, Dana.
We hear it. We hear something. So with this whole thing, I'm just concerned that they won't let Randy Orton do another clean finish here in regards to Keith Lee. So I don't see Keith Lee getting a clean win. I'll just do my prediction quick then. I don't see it. I have a feeling that this is a feud that's going to continue, though. And it's going to end probably in a no DQ. And they're going to keep going, because you can't make this a one and done. None of the matches that Randy Orton, since he's been back consistently since the whole thing of when he was gone for a little while. They've all been feuds. We've seen it with Edge, we've seen it with Drew, and now we're definitely going to see it with Keith Lee. This is going to be a program. So I'm not expecting a clean finish. I'm expecting something, maybe a no DQ. Something's going to happen, and then we're just going to keep seeing them brawl out. So that's my prediction. All right, Dana, what do you got?
In regards to the whole Keith Lee thing, I think that he, again, with the weird NXT stuff, he needs to make a name for himself in WWE. So it's basically he's starting brand new with this. I don't see him winning this match, which it doesn't mean that it's bad or anything. It just, he needs to keep building up this feud because it's rather new. So I don't mind him losing, and it continues throughout, the couple months or so.
Yeah, you can see that. Ricky?
Yeah, I agree with Dana that I think that even though Keith Lee, he was booked strong throughout his NXT run, it's a whole different ballgame when you get called up to the main roster. And it's what they have a vision for you versus what NXT did.
But don't you think that's something that they should change? We talked about this with Ricochet and with Aleister Black. Remember, they came in, they were a tag team, and they were doing all this other stuff. If they just came in with the momentum and the vibe that they had from NXT, don't you think that would help propel them up as opposed to just starting from scratch? Because then it sort of washes all that away.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what they did with... honestly, that's what they did with Finn Balor when they called him up 4 years ago. They put him right in the Universal title picture. And it would have worked if he hadn't gotten injured. So that was one of those examples where they took the momentum of the NXT run and carried it. Asuka's the same situation. She was undefeated. They brought her up. They booked her strong up to a point. So there are examples where the NXT, the NXT rub carries over. I don't think that's going to be the case with Keith Lee, unfortunately. So he's going to look good in this match, but he's not going to beat Randy Orton, because right now Randy Orton is who they are putting. They're putting their eggs in Randy Orton's basket as far as who's going to carry feuds as the top heel. Orton's going to be that guy. He's going to continue to feud with Drew McIntyre.
So, do you think Keith Lee is going to be a heel?
No.
Because that's the thing now. It's like, all right, well, if you want to have heels against your babyface champ, you need heels. And right now, we talked about before, like quality heels, the only one is Randy Orton, and it looks like that was their issue, right? That's why we saw Randy Orton compete against Drew for the title, because they felt they didn't have big star power heels. Well, here's Keith Lee. He's good on the mic. He's great in the ring. Make him a heel.
No, you just turned Aleister Black heel.
But they're not putting him in the title picture. They have him doing the whole Kevin Owens thing. I'm thinking for potential opponents for Drew.
Well, again, right now, you don't have to think about who they're going to do it for Drew, because right now it's Randy Orton. When Drew gets back, Orton is the guy he's feuding with. He doesn't have to worry about anyone else. That's the guy he's feuding with. And if you need heels, you can do Bobby Lashley. I know that Dana just rolled her eyes, but Bobby Lashley.
Well, we'll get to him next. We'll get to that.
You could do Bobby Lashley. You have Orton.
See, but they did the Bobby Lashley. They did that whole thing, and they could have gone further with it, and they didn't. They made it like a one and done.
Yeah, but they could always go back to it. It's like, and I get it, like, it might be great, like, if they had Keith Lee heel, because he's like, he's believable and everything. Yeah. But
I think it would be one of those heel situations where he's not purposely trying to be a heel, but he wants that title, and if it takes beating the shit out of a babyface, then so be it. Bask in my glory, Bobby Lee. I think that's the whole thing. It'll be like that type of thing. I think we need more of those. What we told them with the gray characters.
Well, here's the problem, is that you're talking about the lack of, and we're talking about this from the perspective of Raw. the lack of a strong heel, and you only think of Randy Orton right now. Who are your strong baby faces? You have Drew McIntyre, and then who else? You know what I mean? So, like, as far as the main event picture, just Drew McIntyre.
Nia Jax. That's my baby face. So happy she's back.
Oh, isn't Apollo Crews?
Well, we're gonna get to that. That's there you go. You bring it. You know what? All right. So wait, Ricky. So who do you have for this? Who's gonna win?
Orton's winning this.
Orton's winning a clean win, or he's gonna do some low blow shit that leads, or some shady shit that leads to a rematch.
I think he's gonna do some low blow shit because it's gonna be again. You have to have Keith Lee look like a threat here. You can't have Orton win a clean. Okay. So he's gonna have the point where he's gonna probably gonna try to win, and the referee's gonna get knocked out because the WWE referees are the worst. Okay. And that's what. And that's where you go. That's how they'll do it.
Okay. All right. What about you, Rich? You were laughing. I think you have something to say about this.
Yeah. So I have a couple quick comments to make. First and foremost, I 100% think that Keith Lee is going to turn heel because the way you introduce Keith Lee in his debut match, Drew McIntyre causes him the match to go to no contest, and you saw how he brought that up in his promo, where he said, "I really wish that Drew didn't do that, but I just wanted to check on my friend." I think that right there is planting the seed that yes, this guy can turn heel, and as long as Drew was champion, there has to be other threats.
Yeah, so that's right. I almost forgot about that. They were talking about their time in Evolve. They then working out also, time in the Indies, and they were friends. So, yeah, they could definitely do this. Like, hey, we made good. We both made it, but you made it as a champ here, and I need that belt. Sort of like what we saw with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens when they were in NXT. Remember? That whole gimmick, same thing. Sami Zayn was the first to show up. I think it was like a year later, Kevin Owens shows up, and they're friends and stuff, and he's like, you know what? You're where I want to be. What do you mean? Oh, shit! Next you know, he power bombs him on the side apron and the whole thing, to Sami Zayn. And then that feud started and never ended for like 15 years. That went on forever.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So the other 2 points I will add. You look and see. You see, when they brought Keith Lee to the main roster, they could have had him go against anybody. But you're already slotting him as someone that is going against the number one contender to the title. That means that eventually he's gonna face Drew. Because I do believe that this feud with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton will probably end with Drew McIntyre still being champion, unless they decide to give it to Randy Orton, which I will also say I was with Dana. I wanted Randy Orton to win, but that didn't happen. So, but this is the point that I'm going to make real quickly so we can go to the next match. I think that Keith Lee is going to win because Drew McIntyre, they told you, oh yes, this guy is seriously hurt, all this other crap. But the pay-per-view is Payback. There's no way Drew McIntyre is not going to get his hands on Randy Orton at some point. Either he's going to come out towards the end, and that'll be a distraction that will allow Keith Lee to get the victory.
That'll be a DQ. Yeah. That'll be the DQ interference, and then he'll say, "Damn, now you ruined my match. Now you cost me my first win on the main roster. Now you gonna bask in my glory." And he go, "Whoa, oh my god, oh my god!" You're gonna look at one of the faces on the video camera. They're gonna be crying, little kids crying. Oh, what happened?
Oh yeah. Well, hey, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Hopefully, I'll be on there. I'm still trying. Every week, I try to get on Thunderdome. So.
I like to get them going heel, and then they changed his theme because it's very easy to sing along to the theme, but the new one is so generic that you can't.
So yeah, you can't do it. You can't. That's what I was saying. Now, apparently, he said that he's gonna have a new one.
Yeah,
they have another one. So
at Payback.
So we gotta
see how that is.
Apparently, that was like a filler because they had to quick response. He said it all happened very quick. That and the outfit, very quick. All right, so let's go to the next one since we already talked about two of the participants. And this is Apollo Crews, who's a champ, versus Bobby Almighty Lashley. This is for the Universal... I was going to say Universal. This is United States Championship. Man, there's no steam in this one. There's really no steam. And it's
No
not. I
steam?
like no steam. I like Bobby Lashley and that whole thing, but this has been flip flopping with MVP involved and MVP having a championship because of the whole thing with Apollo not being able to attend, and then they were like, no. Then they had the match. Then Apollo had his own. MVP had his own belt. But Apollo brought his belt, and it's just a lot back and forth, and then now he becomes a champ again, and it's like, well, Bobby's like, well, then it's my turn. I'm going to go for the belt. This is why I don't see him going back into the main title hunt anytime soon, because he's in this limbo here. So I'm not excited for this match at all. I could care less whether Apollo or Bobby wins. I think Bobby's going to win, only because it just makes sense for that new faction, the Hurt, what was it, the Hurt Room, or Hurt? The
Hurt Business.
Hurt Business. There you go. The Hurt Business. And that at least somebody has a title, like when they had MVP with it for a little bit. So then it'll come back and he'll have it. And I don't know if they're going to keep going with the Underground. It sort of looks like Underground is pointless now. It doesn't have that same vibe. They definitely weren't in the warehouse.
Well, no, they was on Underground this week. They came back.
It didn't look right. You know what I mean? It's like none of it. I don't know. I still don't know the direction and what's the point of Underground. I don't. I think if anything, it should be its own show, half-hour show, a half-hour show for USA. That's what it should be. They could do a really quick. Take a page out of Lucha Underground where you see a bunch of guys in the locker room talking stuff, getting ready for their match. Film it. And then it was like, all right, you ready? We're going to do this. All right, I'm going to kick your ass in there. How much money are you putting on the line? Have them do some gambling. I don't know if they're allowed to do that on TV. I mean, it's fixed. It's not real sports. So I guess they can sort of promote it. Like it's a TV show. That's all. Like I'm putting in and see a board and see how much money people are putting in. Put some drama. Somebody just put up their house or something. I don't know. And yeah, something like a blood sport. Treat it. Give some story to it and make it a half-hour show. I would watch it just for that. I'm like, all right, what's going to happen here? Oh, there's some baby drama here. Look at this one. Oh, damn, is he sleeping with Gina? Isn't Gina so-and-so's girl? Oh, man. You know what I mean? Do something like that. It'd be real cheesy. It'll have that blood sport feel. But it's watchable. It's TV. So, I don't know. So, I think, just in closing from my end, Bobby Lashley, go ahead, win. It just makes more sense story-wise if they want to progress. A belt, it looks good in a faction. There's at least one person with a belt. So, yeah, give it to him. All right, Dana, it sounds like you ready for something.
First of all, they kind of explained what Underground was very briefly. It is a place to go when you want to relieve your stress.
Nah, you don't do that. That's not how stress relief works. No. You don't purposely go out there unless there's something to gain. Unless you're trying to you're going to win some financial money. You get something from it. There's always some motivation. No one just goes to do that. I'm sorry. Even when Kimbo and friends were doing it in Florida, they did this shit for money. It wasn't just to get clicks on YouTube videos.
Well, blame Shane. I didn't create it. But yeah, it's a place where you go.
No, I know. I'm just saying that's a bullshit reason. That does not fly with me.
WWE. Does it exactly have to make sense? You're asking for a lot here.
I'm not. I'm asking for a damn scoreboard in the back and people putting money down. That's what I'm asking. You know what? They are allowed to do gambling. They are allowed because APA did gambling. Remember? In the back, they would gamble and drink and smoke. So they can do it. So they could definitely bring that back because it's not real. It's TV show. It's a TV show.
Well, they're not going to do it because remember, they even got rid of the girls because it was just too much.
The girl was too much, but you know what? We're already seeing all these people fighting in a warehouse. Come on now.
Yes, but it's a weird way of which it is. We have different times than the APA days. So, damn. Yeah, you can't. Perfect.
There you go.
But in regards of this match, who's in it? I forgot.
Bobby
I heard
Lashley,
Bobby.
Apollo. Oh my God, I came from Evolve, but no one cares. Cruz.
Oh, well.
I really feel bad because he came in with so much hype. The man was amazing. He's still so talented, but for some reason, and it's got to be the charisma or something, it just doesn't stick. It just doesn't stick. He even did that. What was that? Proving Ground. Was it Proving Ground? That show that they did little segment.
Ground.
Breaking Ground.
Breaking Ground. Remember? And they did that, and they would show how you try to do his video packages and stuff at the performance center. It never catched on, and people even said like he needs to work on it. It's not working. It's not working. He's got everything else. He's got the ring. He's got the look. It's not working with his promos. He needs a manager, and they tried the manager thing with what's his name? Oh man, No. Only. Yep, there you go. They're Tyson Worldwide. They tried that, and it's still.
Okay, first of all, Bobby Lashley, screw him. We're not acknowledging him. Apollo Crews is corny, and it just doesn't. There's no audience for that kind of corn. So no.
Even with an audience, it's just something.
No, I meant literally. I don't care if you're just watching on your TV. No one wants to see that kind of corn. You can't digest it. It's stale and bland.
It's not for consumption, human consumption. It's the Iowa corn. People think people can eat Iowa corn. You can't. That's for cattle. So is that what you said?
Exactly.
This is cattle corn?
He is Iowa
cattle corn? It's Iowa cattle corn.
He is Iowa cattle corn.
All right. I got you.
So he will never be popcorn.
Okay. No, he will never get to that point. He will never get to that point.
He will never get to that. It's not for him.
But I do like Bobby Lashley. I will always support Bobby Lashley. His action figure is also downstairs currently. And I do appreciate everything that he brings to the sport for wrestling and MMA. And eventually, I believe we will get that long, 2 or 3 month storytelling feud with Brock Lesnar. I feel that if they really do it properly, they can get all the footage from the UFC and from Bellator and all that stuff, from all the things that Bobby has accomplished in that sport. They can really build up. Sort of reminiscent of when Hulk Hogan went to WCW and they redid that match with Roddy Piper. You remember that? And they kept showing all the old footage and this and that and the build-ups and all the... Really hype it up. I think you can do that, and it would be fun. Hell, and shit, don't even put it in a ring. Bring back that NXT pit. The NXT pit, right? That was fucking awesome. Put it in that. I want to see Bobby Lashley, Brock, boom, in the pit, surrounded by fire with 2 alligators. Yes. Yes.
Just as long as I don't ever have to see Bobby again, I will give you that.
Oh, that was a wrong answer. All right. So, Rich, what do you have for this one?
All right, well, from a business standpoint, I'm looking at if I was running WWE and if I want people to watch the product and I want them to get behind people, I'm going to go with the person that already has a name and a stature. Apollo Crews is okay, but I'm not really enjoying this little title reign so far because he's only faced MVP up to this point. Mm-hmm. I recall on the past I've said, the matchup they need to have is Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews, and now that they're having that match, I don't really care much about it. So I'm going to say Bobby Lashley.
Oh, and I got to add a little asterisk with this because we have to assume that Alexander and Ricochet and them and MVP and everyone, their crews, both of these guys' crews are going to get involved in some way.
Yeah.
Right. We just have to assume that that's going to happen. They're not saying anything, but I'm sure they will.
Because the thing is that Bobby Lashley, this guy should not even be in this particular title picture. This is a guy that should still be competing for the world title, not the United States title. Mm-hmm. So for him to not have a title is kind of a little disrespectful. You think about it, because clearly he can have a title and do something with some type of title reign. So I mean, like I said before, when he had his little match with Drew, that could have been a feud, but it was only one match. So it's like, that's a little ridiculous. But I would say, I don't have a problem with them just giving him the belt. Then, whenever Keith Lee gets elevated down, if he's still on Raw, then we'll see Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, something about this. All right, Ricky, what do you got for this?
All right, so here are Apollo Crews' opponents going back to June 15th. Shelton Benjamin, MVP. MVP. Shelton Benjamin. MVP. Those are the opponents. As far as solo matches, those have been his opponents for the last 3 months.
There you go. Now Bobby Lashley has to stop the cycle and beat his ass and take the belt. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you getting over on these fools, but not me, jabroni, and take the belt.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I think that one thing you'll notice is that with Apollo, outsmarting the Hurt Business all these times and everything like that, the one constant is that Bobby Lashley gets the better of him, like almost every time. And it's like, why do you keep having MVP facing him when you really want to have Bobby Lashley be the one to face him and beat him? That's what they want. So Bobby Lashley want to do it.
Is it MVP? Because maybe you're up to this, because I don't remember. Is MVP still trying to recruit Apollo?
He's trying to recruit.
Or is it Alexander now?
Alexander.
It's Alexander. So then maybe this is where I feel like somebody from that crew is going to jump. And it's only because you think of the outfit itself. Whenever there's a good faction, it's that you have one from almost each class. You got the heavyweight, you got a middleweight, you got the tag team group, and then you may have a cruiserweight, a lightweight guy. They don't have that lightweight guy. If they get Alexander, he fills that spot. You already got the heavyweight, you got the middle guy, which is
hold on,
Shelton. What?
Hold on a second. If Ricky is looking at stacks, I want you to check something. Because if I recall correctly, there was a match that they had on Raw this past week. It was a 6-man match. And they told Apollo Crews had to choose the people who he wanted in that match. If if one of those people was not in that match, that is a motive for them to now say, "Oh, well, you didn't choose me to be in the match, so now I'm going to screw you over later."
Yeah, and you know who the one that got taken out of that match?
Who was that?
Alexander.
Well, there you go. Yep.
But Cedric Alexander went and stole the 24/7 championship from Shelton Benjamin during the match. So that's how that played out. Now, The thing is, I think that would be funny is that this whole time, MVP kept trying to recruit Apollo Crews, and it didn't work. And he's been trying to recruit Cedric Alexander. What if it's Ricochet is the one that takes it? That would be a different thing right there, because you wouldn't see it coming. Ricochet, white meat, baby face, and everything, but he could definitely use an attitude change. You know what I mean? So maybe he's the one that joins. That could be an interesting thing.
What's up, Mustafa Ali? What are they doing with him? I mean, he came back.
He's hacking.
They're not doing the hack thing anymore.
He's been put
He's evolved.
He's been put on main event. He jobbed to Riddick Moss.
Yeah,
recently.
That's what I saw.
Anything with them. It's a really damn shame what they're doing to him. But
well, you see, this is what we were saying with AEW. There's always going to be some of the squishy apples at the bottom of the barrel, and this is what happens because eventually the apples start getting down there. And we were going to see this, and I'm sure we're going to see the same thing in AEW. There's going to be some talent that's quality, but for some reason or another, they slip to the bottom, and that's why I feel like with Ricochet.
They did. They released them already. They're gone.
What do you mean? What? Whoa! You breaking news? What are you talking about? Release? They didn't release Ricochet.
Yeah, no, not Ricochet. You was talking about in regards to AEW. I was saying they did, and they released them.
Oh, those guys. No, they weren't quality though. I'm talking about this type of quality.
You said bottom of the barrel.
That people that they see apples that eventually there are always apples at the bottom of the barrel. Just because the placement.
Right, and AEW got rid of theirs.
But those are ones that weren't using already. Yeah,
because they was at the bottom of the barrel.
Ricochet's quality is what I'm saying, and that he shouldn't be there, but he is.
Well, yeah. This is such a sad thing.
That's what I'm saying. Even Alexander. That's what I'm saying. It's like they're in that situation, but it's not for their own fault of talent. They have the talent. They're just not being portrayed right.
You're always going to have apples in the bottom of the barrel.
Exactly.
You take out the ones that are bad, and then new ones will come in.
Exactly. The other ones, that's it. Unless you lay them all out on the table, and nobody does that. At least not anymore.
I just want to end this. Bobby Lashley becomes the new U.S. champion.
There you go.
That's my prediction.
All right. I think we all did this one, right? Because
Yeah.
Dana was the first. I think we did this. And she already poo-pooed on Bobby Lashley. So
I don't acknowledge him, so therefore I can't
there we
acknowledge
go.
this man.
Exactly. So this was Apollo Crews versus Ready Player 2. That was it, because it really doesn't matter. All right. So here's another one that really threw me for a loop. I'm like, what? How did this happen? It was all very quick. And then we have a title match. Bayley, Sasha Banks versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. And this is a title match. WWE Women's title match. So this is a put-together team that instantly gets a title match. There was no tournament involved. There was no other shenanigans involved. It was just like, hey, I don't like you. You don't like me. But you know what? We're scary people. You agree? Yeah, I agree. Fist bump, fist bump. You want to go for the title belt? You think we can do that? Yeah. How do you know we can do it? It's wrestling. Anything could happen. Yeah, you're right. I think we can do this. And that's it. That's what it feels like. Because, right, it just happened all within one episode. We're not even talking weeks of dragging out story. This all happened on Raw.
Yeah.
That was it. You see Nia back, and then you see Shayna throwing some jabs. It was like, oh, you're going to hurt somebody else or something to that effect, right? You're going to do something else to get you, sent home and disqualified. We're trying to put our money on. They started jabbing back and forth. She called her, what did she call her? From the Addams family or something like that? The Munster family? Said she's
Addams family reject.
Addams family reject. My daughter took offense because she's very big into Wendy and stuff. She was dressed up as Wendy on the last Halloween, and a tear rolled down her face. She's like, does that apply to me too, Daddy? And I was like, you know what? Maybe not today, but go play with your toys. And then that was it. But with this one, this title match, this just tells me they plan on taking the belts away from them. Yeah. Sasha and Bayley. This is it. This group of the role models with all the belts and all, that's over. That is done.
Well, yeah.
And this is the direction we're going in. So I'll just do my prediction real quick. That's it. Shayna, Nia Jax. This is going to be like Team Hell No, but this is Team Ugly No, or whatever they want to call it. That they said it, not my words. Not my words. Nia Jax did it. Nia Jax called Shayna ugly. I honestly do not think Shayna's ugly. I think she has a very tough look, but I'm all for it. I'm all for it. She's doing that. This is Nia. But I think Nia Jax and Shayna are going to win this belt. I think this is it. They're going to win the titles. They're going to be the champs. All right, Dana. Go ahead. Say it.
Well, I think the lovely Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax is going to win. Only because this further cements Sasha Banks' downfall and ultimate kind of falling out with Bayley. Because you saw her, that whole speech and everything that was given today, and you could see that there's fractures and there's a lot of tension in there, and she's trying to make a joke with the cow and the moo.
You see, they were saying those things. That was mean. That was mean, and there was no reason to go there. But they're bringing that type of humor.
She had on. No, see, that's you and your twisted mind. The moo was because Bayley was talking about Sasha's pants.
I didn't get that. I like the pants, and I did not get the mood thing. That's not what came to my mind. I thought of like hot party. Oh yeah, I've been to the club. That's Sheena. She's in the corner. She's looking to party. That's gonna reflect off the light. Everybody knows the white reflects off the black light. That shit looks crazy. She could get her dance on. I'm telling you, gotta think positive. That's what I was thinking.
No, you are completely no. So they are going to win because I need to have that downfall and that falling out with the Sasha and Bayley, and then they end up feuding, and then maybe, I don't know, Sasha wins the title.
This is just for them. This has nothing to do with
it's just
Baszler
for them, because it literally doesn't make any sense. They just looked at these two random women. Hey, you, let's pair you up, put you in a match, throw some titles on you. Because you said, you could say, oh, Team Hell No, but there's no development.
No.
And no one likes either one of these people. I mean, like Shane. The sad thing with Shane is that she's really talented.
She's awesome.
Which she is.
Get from the gods.
She's just stuck here. Right. And
they
she's
got so
stuck
lucky
in
with
WWE.
her. So lucky with her. To come in
they got
legit,
lucky, but
already trained, knew what the hell to do. She picked up everything like the way Kurt Angle did really quick, the whole pro wrestling aspect. everything works. She does great promos. She's believable. She knows how to sell in the ring, which is always something that they have trouble. You saw Ronda Rousey having trouble with that. It's very tough to just do that. People don't understand. Selling is hard because, I mean, I don't like to undermine them, but they're not getting hurt. So you have to make everything look painful. And that means it making it look believable. And she does a great job with that. Maybe it's the mouthpiece. I don't know. But everything works for me. And I'm very disappointed that she's in Limbo Land. She should be their champ. She should have came up, especially after the Elimination Chamber destroying everyone. Remember? I knew that. I called that one too. I said she's going to look strong. She's going to be the Brock. She's going to destroy everybody. And she did. She did, and it went nowhere. That was literally, that whole match was pointless. And now look where she's at. She's tagging with Nia Jax, which I think she's doing to protect Nia as to help her. I think it's one of those, like, all right, I'm going to help you out with this and put you on the right track so you don't, start hurting people. Because I think she knows. Wasn't that one of the things that they said, that she's aware that she gets a little sloppy or something and she causes injuries? It's not intentional. But and I think that's why she keeps getting the pass. Because everyone keeps asking for her head to get fired. Like, oh, fucking fire. But she's not on drugs. She's not like, oh, damn, she's on coke when she comes in the ring. She's drunk in the ring. That's why she slumped. She's not. It's just timing. It's wrestling is a lot about timing, man. I always remember that match she had versus Charlotte Flair. Remember when she was in the outside and Charlotte went to do the moonsault and Nia just completely missed and didn't catch her?
Well, Nia is very lazy and sloppy and should not wrestle. She can do literally anything that she wants.
That's what you see. That's what you see. But then a lot of people think that that's not the case. That's why she's still there. And that is just the timing. She didn't pick up the cues and the timing and to know, wait a minute, Flair's not here. Maybe she's up on the top turnbuckle. Oh, there she is. That was it. It's just timing in the ring, or we can go with
no timing, no talent.
Or we can do the backstage politics, and according to that, if we go through the rumor mill and the dirt sheets and the rumor, I'll whisper it. We gotta do the whisper part. The rumor is that because she's related to The Rock, they don't want to let her go because they're scared that The Rock is gonna get pissed off. I think that's bullshit because his daughter is in the performance center. So I think he cares more about his daughter than Nia Jax. Shh. All right. Now that we snuck that in. Ricky, what do you got for this one?
You might be surprised by this, but I think that this whole thing with Shayna and Nia being together is just filler. That I don't expect them to be a tag team beyond Payback. I think that they're talking about how they hate each other is going to be like it's a parallel. Dana, what were you saying?
No, I coughed.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if you were whispering like Adam was.
Oh. So wait, so are you saying that you think this is sort of like when Sheamus and Cesaro, before they became the Bar, remember they hated each other. They had those series of matches, and then eventually they were sort of forced to tag, and it just worked out. You think it's one of those situations?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I think that this is they're being put together so that Bayley and Sasha have an opponent, and it's kind of like looking in the mirror in a sense, because you have these two who are working together who don't get along, and Bayley and Sasha, they're starting to not get along in a sense. So it's almost like looking in the mirror in a sense there. But the difference here is this. Shayna and Nia are not going to be able to pull it together. Nia is probably going to screw over Shayna in this match. That will allow Bayley and Sasha to retain. And Shayna and Nia will have a feud against each other, as I fully expect. I don't think that they're going to get the tag belts. This is going to be a thing where an actual tag team, not one just thrown together, an actual tag team is going to be the one taking the belts off of them. We're not sure who that's going to be just yet. But I think it's too soon. And this sounds crazy because this is the slowest burn in history. They've been doing this for 5 years now. 5 years that they've built this up. But I don't think they're going to have Bayley and Sasha drop the tag belts yet, because if they do, the next logical step is now they got to beef with each other. But it's like the next big pay-per-view isn't until November in Survivor Series. So they still need to wait until then to really, if they want to have like, a payoff to this kind of thing. I don't think they're going to break them up just yet. They're going to continue to tease it. So I say Bayley and Sasha retain only because Shayna and Nia ultimately they cannot work together and they end up having their own feud. That's how I see it.
All right. Rich?
Very good analysis by everybody. I, however, think exactly what you already mentioned, Adam, that this thing with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler is exactly like Cesaro and Sheamus, because WWE likes to recycle storylines and does the same thing over and over again. So obviously, that eventually we're going to get Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler, but I think they're going to play that out a lot longer, because again, to me, the promo tonight with Sasha Banks, that was everything. That pretty much told you, that was them letting you know this is coming to an end. This whole tag title thing is coming to an end. And I can't think of any team put together on that roster right now that can take the belts off of Sasha and Bayley. I mean, you have to understand, both of these people are threats. And Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. So obviously, it also creates a lot more mystique, because I feel once they do win the tag titles, now there are two questions you have to answer. Number one, you have to answer, well, who is Asuka's next opponent? Because Shayna Baszler has already said that she's up next against Asuka. So that's number one. And then number two is, so who is going to be the team that ultimately takes the belts off of Shayna and Nia? And again,
it could be anybody, because they'll just implode. That's what I think is going to happen. They're just going to screw up on tags and have all kinds of issues, and then one person's just going to leave the other person hanging. And it's like, I'm done with this shite, and then go up the ramp, and that's usually how these type of things end, right?
Yeah, probably be the Iconics again, or
all of that. We saw even with Hell No, Team Hell No. Remember, that's also what led to it.
Absolutely, or maybe the Riot Squad Rebirth. Will get that opportunity. I mean, I don't know which team is going to do it, but I do think the only reason why I say I believe that Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are going to win it, because it solves the issue of furthering two different storylines. It furthers their feud, which is just getting started. The jabs back and forth, but eventually that's going to lead to a feud, and then it also finally progresses this whole thing with Sasha and Bayley, because again, there is no team that can take the belts off of them right now on the main roster anyway, because if it is a team in NXT, they haven't highlighted that team. So
that's it. This and to Vince and other people, this is a new team. This Baszler and Nia Jax, this is a new team. So new face, new team, new matchups, right? And this could be a potential to take. All right. But none of this matters. Anybody who watches Payback is not watching for any of this shit. They're watching it for one match. One match to rule them all. And that's this triple threat that we have. This no holds barred, taking it back to my Hulk Hogan movie that I was watching. There we go. No holds barred. This is it. Triple threat. The Fiend. Braun Strowman. Roman Reigns. Accompanied by Paul Heyman. We'll jump into this real quick with this, my thought, because I'm telling you, and just to piggyback from SummerSlam, I still don't see Roman Reigns as a heel. I'm sorry. And the reason why is because what they did with Braun Strowman, where he picked up Alexa Bliss like he was going to chuck her out the ring like a frisbee. He didn't give a shit. If they still portrayed him before the swamp thing and all that he was still like the babyface. He's a good guy going against the Fiend. But they flipped it. They wanted to make it seem like now he's a villain also. Remember, he's like, I don't care about Bliss and I don't care about it. It's like, okay, so then now you're putting him in that. And then when in the ring when they were fighting against Retribution. Remember the other wrestlers, and then he's pushing him. I don't give a shit about anybody. I was like, okay, now you're that guy. Right, so that's why when you see Roman Reigns show up at the end of SummerSlam and he kicks his ass and the Fiend's ass, be like, oh, he's a heel. Where do you get that from? Both the Fiend and Braun are pricks. Roman Reigns just came back and he's like, you know what? I'm tired of the pricks. I don't like you. I definitely don't like you, Fiend. So this is how it's gonna be. That's why he has that shirt. Was it I wreck shop or some shit like that? Wreck it. Come in, break it, whatever bullshit slogan he's trying to sell on a t-shirt. But the point is this thing. He's coming in to just clean up house. He's not paying, he's playing favorites. He's not the baby face. He's not the heel. He's the gray zone. He's what WWE is constantly trying to squeeze someone in there. Randy Orton is sort of in there. You know, and it's that middle ground, and that's what with Steve Austin and The Rock and certain wrestlers that just make it where it's like, wow, you're within both worlds, but you're in the middle. People are cool with you if you did some bad things. People are cool with you if you did some good things. Everybody's cool with you. They just like you. And I think that's what they're trying to do with Roman. For the longest, we've all said it, and the WWE Universe, at least for the adult audience. Kids, my kid, they love him as the good guy. But for the majority, we're tired of it. We're like, you know, he'll be a better heel. His music is heel music. He has a heel gimmick. Hell, the Emperor and all that shit, you know, Empire. All that is gimmick. He just needs a cape, and that's it. He's good to go. He's a DC villain. So it makes perfect sense that he goes the heel route. But I feel he's not a full-blown heel. Just having Paul Heyman, no. That segment that we just saw at the end here where he has him sit next to him and saying, you know, that this isn't a prediction, this is a spoiler. I know it's supposed to be a mouth-dropping segment. It wasn't enough for me. For me, like I said, and I said it off air, I need him, Roman Reigns, to kick some babyface's ass, like, severely. I wanted to see Roman Reigns destroy Rey Mysterio and Dominic, do something like that, something real brutal, real disgusting, like, oh God, how could he do this? You know, something above, because remember, if he is going heel, he has to go above Seth Rollins heel. Because Seth Rollins is the, you know, quote unquote Messiah. He is that, supposed to be the super cult wrestling heel leader, right? That's it. He's building his own crew. At least he's trying to, because the Authors of Pain keep getting hurt. But he still has one member, at least. And here it is, you got Roman Reigns. And if they're really smart with this, and we've sort of hinted at this, is that you have, and I don't think it's going to happen, because now that we see Paul Heyman, it doesn't make sense, but we thought that this would be the perfect way of introducing that he's the leader of Retribution. He is the evil guy that comes back. He's got all his minions. They're already all dressed in black anyway. You know, and then that's it. He's got his crew. It's the Dark Order AEW version, but done properly, because they dropped the ball with Brody Lee. We know this. So that's my whole thing. I don't see him as a full heel yet. I see him as a middle gray zone. He's gonna, again, it'll probably take for when crowds come back to get that reaction, because as we know now, people are like, oh, well, I hear crowds. No, that's all pumped in fake audio. That's not real. We're seeing real people on the screens, but we're not hearing the audio. We don't know what people are doing. I'm sure there's going to be a mixture of boos and cheers like usual, but I have a feeling if he goes full heel, those boos will turn into straight up cheers, because it's going to be all the older audience that, for the longest, the same audience that wanted Cena to go heel, that never happened. These are the same people that wanted Roman to go heel, and we're like, oh, it's never going to happen. Well, it's finally going to happen, hopefully, if he goes full dark heel. And that's what I want. I want full dark. Right now, even when we saw his face, it was still very timid, confused. I don't know. I'm going to sign. I'm going to be there. You know, and then looking over at Paul. You know what I mean? I didn't get that heel vibe, that real gritty, like, shit, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to destroy all of them, and I'm going to kick your ass just for opening up my door and coming into my dressing room. You know, and I didn't get that vibe from him, which is why I still don't believe he's a heel. And that's it. And that's my rant. So now I'm going to the potty. There you go. All right. So, Rich, what do you think?
Well, that was a good explanation. I feel like the Paul Heyman Roman Reigns affiliation, that is definitely meant to keep the audience guessing. So I appreciate that is there, because for those of us that actually want Roman Reigns to turn heel, at least you have the belief that is a possibility. Now, based off of the attack that happened at SummerSlam, that there's no way that, in my personal opinion, that look like a heel to me, because there was trash talk that also was a part of that attack after the fact.
But he did that same trash talk against Undertaker when he's like, "This is my yard," and no one counted him as a heel, and he said it right to his face. You know?
Yeah.
And, when he did it to Finn Balor, "Look at you, little man." Remember? I mean, he was always saying those type of comments that would be referred to as something a heel would say.
Yeah. Well, that's true. So, I mean, obviously, they still have to continue to tell the story of what they're doing with Roman Reigns now. See, the thing is, before we was planning to do this show tonight, I kind of, in my mind, figured, well, yeah, Roman Reigns is probably going to win on Sunday. But then again, after SmackDown and seeing this whole thing about them still bringing up Alexa Bliss being connected to Bray Wyatt, and then I look at Bray Wyatt, his whole episode of the Funhouse, it didn't seem like he's concerned about either Braun Strowman or Roman Reigns, the way that his demeanor and all this other stuff.
Well, remember, that's not the Fiend. That's the whole thing. It's like the Fiend acts completely different. So this Bray Wyatt, he doesn't, he's whatever. He's the one that gets beat. Remember when they have the matches? He's like, oh, whatever. He's not that guy. It's the Fiend. It's the Fiend that has a different point of view. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But if I have to make a guess as to who I think will win, just based off of my understanding, I think that Bray Wyatt is going to retain.
He's going to retain.
Because I don't think that the feud here is between Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns. They're going to have countless matches. They have to get Braun Strowman out of the picture. So this is the match. Braun Strowman will probably be the one that eats the pin in this match, because they still want this whole thing. Because again, let's go back to the initial plan. It was supposed to be Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. That match didn't happen because of the change of bringing in Goldberg.
So since this is no holds barred, does that mean that the Fiend can bring his big Acme hammer out and knock Braun in the head with it?
They said it's a no disqualification, no holds barred, and they highlighted those things for a reason. So there's going to definitely be some stuff that happens.
Just as long as it's not the small one. You can bring out the big one.
Okay. So you all right? So the Fiend. You know what? I'll jump in real quick with that because I forgot. I said that whole rant again. My prediction. Yeah, I see the Fiend also. I see the Fiend retaining. I don't see. There's no reason just because Roman Reigns came back that he gets the belt. I don't think so. I don't think it makes sense. I think it's fine. It just works out better to have a heel with a title. We always have, because they can cheat. They get away with a lot of stuff, and it's expected. It's harder for a babyface. That's always been the case. So with the Fiend, he's dark, he's mysterious, he can cheat, he can do unbelievable things, almost like the way the Undertaker would do things. He just gets up. He's a monster. So let it keep going with it, and yeah, I see it with that. So Dana, what about you? This match, what do you think? Oh, I think she's got us muted. Dana, mute. All right. Well, there goes that. I think she still has it mute. Ricky, what do you got for this?
Okay. So with Roman Reigns coming out at SummerSlam, he's essentially made the Fiend and Braun Strowman irrelevant. It was all the talk is about Roman Reigns' return, and is he a face or a heel? And I struggled with that for a little bit because my first impression was, oh my God, he's a heel because he goes out and waits until this match ends and then goes and viciously attacks both men with a steel chair. Okay? And
but people would have been upset. That would have been a no DQ then if he did that, if he interfered.
Right. But here's the thing. You're going to wait until these guys have fought each other and are tired. You have to understand, okay? So the babyface Roman Reigns that we remember is the kind that he will do it to your face. He will let you see it coming. The only time that he will attack you is if you attacked him first. If you were the one that beat him down first. I understand that if either Bray Wyatt or Braun Strowman had taken Roman Reigns out of commission. If they wrote him out as one of them, beating him up and injuring him and all that, then he's coming back for revenge. He hasn't feuded with either of these guys this year.
Well, remember what he said? He said he was the big dog. He's the only monster. They're not monsters unless he made them. He gave that whole thing. It's that I'm the big dog in the yard. It's that egomaniac in him.
So that sounds like a heel. That sounds like a heel.
But he was like that before, is my point. He was like that with The Undertaker. He was like that with Finn Balor. He was like that with Seth. This is his character, but for some reason, people never saw him as a heel. He was still getting his cheers from the kids and all that stuff. But I always saw him as being a prick.
Oh, whoa.
That was his character. Remember with the smirk? With the little smirk in the ring on the stuff? Like, look at you.
Sure, but he did it with a smile. He was not smiling this time. He had a little bit of that smirk before he hit one of his spears, but he didn't do the ooh-ah. He didn't do the Superman punch and stuff that the kids love. It was none of that.
If he doesn't do those two, then yeah, he's gone here because those are the babyface moves. That's like when they told Cesaro he couldn't do the big spin anymore when they turned him heel.
He was getting off for it, and they didn't want to do that. So, I mean, I don't know that he's necessarily going to stop using the Superman punch in his repertoire. I think he'll still use it, but the thing is this: his mannerisms were different. This is the first time I've seen him like this since the original Shield run. The first time to see him like this, where he's going and he's just brutally attacking people and talking shit to them.
Yeah, I think we need to see more.
Calling you like you're just a freak in a mask.
Yeah,
but that's okay because he's saying that to a bad guy. We've heard that too. We've heard that from Seth Rollins saying the same shit. He was like, "You're nobody. You're nothing." And remember, Finn Balor even said it when they were feuding. He was like, "You just put on a mask and then you think you deserve to be a top guy." He's like, "You're nobody." They've all thrown that jab at him.
But let me just throw this in, and I'm gonna let Ricky continue. I understand what Ricky is saying because even though we can say yes, because he attacked the Fiend, now he's, you can say, oh no, he's a good guy still. Recall that on the SmackDown before that pay-per-view, when they show Bray Wyatt getting attacked and thrown off near the ambulance. I mean, at that point, I felt sympathetic for that character, for Bray Wyatt.
I didn't.
So exactly. I think that's why I say they're trying to blur the line on whether or not the person is a heel or a face, because it's hard to really understand that. But that's why I say, we'll see.
I agree with you, Richard. But that is what I said on the last WrestleCast, is that this was a double turn between Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, and they made it clear that if you weren't sure where the roles were, we're going to have Braun Strowman go and toss Alexa Bliss in the ring. We're going to have him go and toss Bray Wyatt onto cement in a way that will get you sympathy for him. Even though the Fiend is a pretty dark character and everything, it's not going to be the first time, it won't be the last time that you've had a dark character who wears the white hat. That's what's happening here with the Fiend. He wore the white hat in the feud with Braun Strowman, and he is
But that's if Braun Strowman's seen as a heel. Then he was not seen as a heel. He got turned from the Fiend. It wasn't. He didn't come in like that. He didn't come in already beating on Alexa Bliss, and then the Fiend coming or Bray Wyatt saying, "Hey, what's wrong with you, Braun?" And he started beating on him, and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna get the Fiend after you." Then it's different. I'm like, all right, there you go.
That's your interpretation. Remember what Braun says, that he's now his real self. That this has made him become his real self, and that he was being his fake self before, and that him going against the Fiend has really it made him go back into it made him really go back into himself and man.
So what babyface elements do you see from the Fiend? Not Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, because the Fiend is the champ, not Bray Wyatt.
The Fiend is the Fiend is the champ. I mean, Bray Wyatt and the Fiend are the same.
It's meaning the way they portray is two different characters. You won't see Bray Wyatt coming down defending the belt. It's always the Fiend that'll defend the belt. It's not the Bray Wyatt. Just like when we see Bray Wyatt come down and do a regular match, it's just as Bray Wyatt. Then, like when he did with Braun, then the next time he did it, then it was as a Fiend. That's what I'm saying. There, he sees it as two different characters, sort of like the way Mick Foley had Cactus Jack and Mankind and Dude Love. The alternate versions. That's the way they're portraying this with Bray Wyatt. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, you felt sympathy of when Bray Wyatt was thrown off, but that wasn't the Fiend that was thrown off. Then he morphed when he came out of the ambulance. Now he's the Fiend. Now he's a fucking monster. That's what I'm saying. So who has the belt? It's not Bray Wyatt. It's the Fiend. The monster has that belt. And he doesn't like anybody.
Let me ask you a question. Did you watch SmackDown today?
Yes.
Did you see Bray Wyatt holding the Universal Championship in the Funhouse?
Yes. But did you also see when he went to sign, he said he shouldn't be signing it. The guy said, he was like, well, can you you should sign it. He's like, well, you know who's gonna sign it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's not the same person. A psychopath and someone that has multiple personalities, and that's how they're portraying this. So yes, that's part of it, but that's not who has the belt. He doesn't defend. The day we see Bray Wyatt, as just Bray Wyatt, come down and defend that title, then that breaks that. But right now, from all the times that he's had the belt and had matches, it's always the Fiend that comes out to defend that title. It's never just the Funhouse Bray Wyatt.
I think you're overanalyzing.
No, I'm not. Only because we've seen the matches. When we saw Bray Wyatt as the Funhouse one, he had a few matches already, but the most recent one, when he had the one with Braun, that was a match as the regular Bray Wyatt, remember? And that's the one that when he lost, that was it. When he got his whooping, it wasn't like the Fiend. He was like, don't worry, the Fiend will come. The Fiend will come. You'll go against him, and he'll beat you. That's the other version of him.
Adam, listen. If you remember Finn Balor, he was NXT champion, and he had the Demon King gimmick and everything like that. He came out as Demon King, and they wanted to try to portray the Demon King as being a different thing, the same way they're portraying the Fiend as a different thing from Bray Wyatt.
It didn't work. At
the end of the day, Finn Balor was the champion, not the Demon King.
Yeah, it didn't work because eventually he started defending it that way. That's what I'm saying. If we see Bray Wyatt just come out as just Bray Wyatt and he defends it, then there you're right. There goes that. But right now, every time when they defend that belt, it's the Fiend that comes out.
Because that's the best version of him.
But there you go, and that's the monster version, because that's the one that can't be beat. The Bray Wyatt one, he just takes an ass whooping and then he loses. But the Fiend fucking gets all this shit tossed at him and just keeps coming and it does magical shit like disappearing and stuff. You know, we saw it in the ring. You know, when he came out last week.
I look forward to seeing him no sell all of this stuff this weekend. That will be happening.
The only time he really sold all this shit and took a legit ass whooping, and that was the one we all bitched about, was against Goldberg.
Yeah. So continuing.
Well, that match was awful.
So I need to continue for a second.
I
need to go back. I noticed that I'm ignoring Braun Strowman, and that's by design because I just don't care about him.
Whoa.
Let me go back to Roman Reigns for a second. So
that's mean.
Well, you say all that stuff about Bobby Lashley, so I can say that about.
You can say all that shit about Bobby Lashley. God damn.
Yeah, but it's true.
No, it's not true.
But it's actually
not true. It's you and your propaganda. Stop spreading that.
It's slander.
It's true. That's a different. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. And you know he's a friend of the show and he listens. Man, he probably already stopped listening at this point. But Bobby Lashley, if you made it this far, we still love you. You're still a friend of the show. You come back.
Oh, good. He should probably go train and learn to be a wrestler.
You are the worst. I'm editing this shit out. Let's, go back to mute. All right, keep going, Ricky.
Roman Reigns. So I was like you, Adam. I was like thinking, you know what? I'm not going to fall for this. Because we've seen it before, like you said, where Roman Reigns comes out with an edge, and maybe this is the time that he's finally a heel. When he won the WWE Championship from Triple H at WrestleMania, which Rich and I went to and saw, we remember that Raw that night, and Roman Reigns being cocky with all the people who wanted to challenge him. He was going and dismissing all of them while they were fighting amongst themselves to see who was going to be the number one contender. He was a cocky champion. Ended up being AJ Styles that won that match to become the number one contender. People wanted AJ Styles to win that feud, but Roman still won it, even though he was technically a babyface. He played the heel role in that feud. And then that set up, I believe, for Seth Rollins' return, and all that happened. And and all that stuff. So Roman Reigns has definitely been the baby face with the Edge before, and I thought, okay, so if we want to, if we know Braun Strowman's a heel now, if we want to call Bray Wyatt a heel, then you think, sure, it doesn't make sense that you have 3 heels going against each other in a feud. Okay, fine. But there's a few things on top of mentioning that they didn't have him do the Superman punch, didn't have him do the ooh-ah before the spear and all that crap. You didn't hear his theme play like you usually do when he stands. They probably
lost rights to that too. Shit, they lost a bunch of rights to their song. So we'll see. Maybe he'll have a whole new one. Maybe I hope he comes down with a cape. I want him with a cape.
I don't see why they would lose. He would lose rights. That was Jim Johnston that did that theme. It wasn't a CFO one, so it's completely unrelated. They might be changing the theme. We might see a new gear. We'll see.
Do you think this means that we're not going to see Brock for a while?
I don't know if it's related. I don't think we'll see Brock for a while until we see fans. I think that's what they're going to wait. Could be. I think that's how it's going to play, because it's going to be like Brock Lesnar. The whole thing is that he's a draw as far as ticket sales or whatever. I don't totally buy that, but that's what Vince believes, and maybe that's what Brock believes, and I don't think we're going to see that until later. But let's get back to Roman for a second, because this part is important, and I'm actually glad that you mentioned Brock in that sense, because of his new manager, Paul Heyman. That changed everything as far as I'm concerned, because going into this night, I thought, okay, Roman's probably still the babyface, because I can't see him being as anything else, but he still kept that kind of attitude of him, the entitlement of, I never lost the belt, no one beat me for it. And then him making that line and seeing Paul Heyman there, that clinched it. Paul Heyman has not managed a babyface yet in WWE.
But did you see how he was leaning in and telling him this? It was as if like, I got this under control. I'm going to put you on a path. He's playing that type of manager. It's not like the Brock version. This is more like I'm coaching him. I'm brainwashing him. He needs me to put him on this path. He needs me to reinforce that he is this destroyer. He's this guy. And I have a feeling that's what they're going to go with. Because he, like I said, he didn't come off very aggressive. He was like just reiterating all this stuff. And even to the line saying, he was like, oh, well, this isn't a prediction. This is a spoiler. And then it panned out. Yeah, that's because that's what he says. We know that. And so now we know he knows that. So it's like, oh, so he keeps telling you this shit. And now it's sinking into your head. And I'm sure there's going to be more story there. And that's when we'll see if it's officially he's all in on it, or if it's more like, hey, I needed a change in my life. I wasn't sure, because I'm sure they're going to play off the story, because they've been doing this with everybody that's been coming back. They're not saying they're gone because of COVID or anything. They're coming up with some other reasons. And I have a feeling they're going to do the same thing. He was home. He's rested. He didn't know what to do. And Paul Heyman got into his ear and told him, hey, you need this. I'm going to put you on this path. We're going to make you this, the most fearful champion, the whole thing. And then he said, you're right. Let's go.
You think so? Rich, say what you're going to say, and then I'll follow up.
So just a quick question. So Adam, you're telling me, Adam, if Roman Reigns wins on Sunday and then on next Friday on SmackDown, he comes out, cuts a promo, and tells all the fans, you guys never believed in me anyway. You kept booing me. Do you still think he's going to be a face then?
No, at that point, because now you're shitting on the fans. Once you shit on the fans, that's the ultimate heel move. He hasn't shit on the fans now. He's just shitting on fucking shitty wrestlers, that already have bad attitudes. Like I said, beat on Rey Mysterio when he said, hey, welcome back, and he's like, you know what, welcome back with my fist in your face. What? And it's like, is that your son? Yeah, you know what? Has he ever seen a toilet bowl from upside down view? What are you talking about? Oh my God, what are you doing to Dominic? Do that type of shit. Go straight heel. Go piss in someone's gym bag. Do those type of things? Yes. Or when you shit on the fans. If he comes out, that's the cheap way of getting heat. When you start shitting on the local town, what town is it? Doesn't matter. It's a loser town anyway. The cheap heat. So if he comes out and he does that, okay, there we go. But right now, it looks like he's just shitting on all the wrestlers that he wants to be the big dog, like he said. But it's more if he's buying into that. He's always said it, but he's never really had that vigor in it. And that's where Paul Heyman comes in. He's going to give him that confidence that he's going to do it. If he starts cheating and shit to win, and doing low blows and other things, that's not going to count in this match anyway, because there's no holds barred. So anything's going to go in it. But that's it. I need more to see that he's a definitive heel. That's all. I don't see it. Yet. I see he's in the gray zone right now.
Okay. So with Rome, so you can correct me if I misinterpret it, but the image you're giving me of Roman Reigns is a man who is insecure right now and who needs Paul Heyman to kind of reassure him that he hasn't.
Correct. Okay. And that Paul Heyman is the one that I think story-wise, because I'm just saying they've been bringing stories to all these guys that have been coming back.
Okay, Adam, you had your time. It's my turn.
Oh, damn.
Oh, whoa.
Damn.
Whoa.
Damn. Tickle the nipples. Here we go.
Sunday at SummerSlam. Where was that Roman Reigns, the insecure one? Because we didn't see it.
That wasn't even a minute. He was out there. He hit this guy. He hit that guy. And then he lifted up the belt. And it was cut.
Lifts the belt and he said, "You can't handle this responsibility."
Of course not. But he said that to two pricks. Say that to a baby. Say that to Drew in the ring. If that was Drew that he did that to, instant heel.
Said it to Bray Wyatt or the Fiend.
The Fiend is a fucking monster. He's a bad guy. You're still justifying like he's a good guy. How much do you like this man? Holy shit. I would not see him at all as a babyface or even a gray zone. He's all heel for me. I don't see it. Even when in his match, he came in as a heel. If anybody was picking sides, they were picking Braun for this one. They knew it wasn't going to happen, but they were definitely not picking the Fiend because they saw him as just the monster. He's the heel.
The problem where your argument kind of crumbles is
he's a monster.
Being with Paul Heyman. With him being with Paul Heyman is where it crumbles because
it doesn't.
Because that's a heel thing. Because Roman Reigns has been a solo act for a while, ever since the Shield broke up and everything. You don't go to Paul Heyman.
If you do, if you're insecure and you need help.
Unless you know you need help.
Yeah.
And that's the heel thing.
Well, when he starts beating on baby faces, then we'll get to that. But right now, he's beating on two heels.
He beat up the Fiend. Because
the Fiend is not a baby face. Oh my God.
He's a baby.
He's not a baby face.
I don't see it.
I can see people liking him because they like the dark and they like the monster look, but he doesn't do anything that's babyface. He doesn't help people out. He doesn't do it. He doesn't come to people's rescue. Hell, he left Braun in the ring when Retribution came in. He didn't even fight those dudes. At least fight the Retribution. Be like, you know what? I hate everybody. No, he just went and waved goodbye. The lights go off, and he did his disappearing act.
Bray Wyatt has literally been a babyface for like 3 weeks. We need to give him a chance.
I don't see it.
Because he's only feuded with Strowman for now. It's going to start now with Roman. But the thing is that if you just look, if you just read between the lines on how they've been booking things, Bray's the babyface now. Braun's been turned heel, and now Roman's heel. That's what's happened right now. And so remember, it's with Roman Reigns going and picking up that belt and everything, standing over Bray.
If you go off of that logic, then Fiend was always a babyface. He was always, because the Firefly Funhouse, remember everyone that was on the wall were people that screwed with him when he was Bray Wyatt. That was everything. The Husky Harris gimmick and all that stuff, that was all shit. And this was all him getting payback for all of them and marking them off. So then if you want to go over that, he's always been a babyface. And that this is just his dark side. This is like an abused child who's putting on a mask like Michael Myers and then just paying back for everybody that treated him wrong.
No.
That's it. Go where you go. You're going down that road. You're already going down the road.
Again, read between the lines.
That is between the lines. He's a good guy. Always has been. Has been. There you go. Remember when he took him in the swamp and he was telling Braun, take a look at me. Look at who I am. Look what I did for you. Look what I did for everything. We're family. You see how I loved you? You see what I did for you? Yo, I got your girl here. Yo, Bliss, come out here. Oh my God, don't you love him? Yo, I got your girl here in the swamp. I got your family. This is where you grew up. Come on now. You don't do this. Familia. Do I have to break out the lingo? Let's do this. And then he stabbed him in the back. So then there you go.
So I mean, this is where, like, when we discussed this before, I mentioned that I kind of liked how confusing it was the Fiend versus Strowman thing, because it was like, well, who's really the bad guy here? But I think that by SummerSlam, by the beginning of SummerSlam, we'll say, I think it's been established that Braun Strowman's the bad guy.
They're all bad, but there's only some that are true heels. There's no good guys. Remember, this is the rebirth of the Attitude Era, so there's not supposed to be anything that's cut and dry anymore.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to interpret there, but the thing is that Paul Heyman is involved in this now. I think that
no. I need more.
Oh, listen, Paul Heyman being added into it is, to me, okay, this is my interpretation. I could be wrong, but my interpretation of Paul Heyman being added to it is, if you didn't think Roman Reigns was a heel yet, here's your wake-up call. Here's Paul Heyman with him. That is the thing. And so maybe we need to wait until Payback and see Roman Reigns, do some more heel shit. Maybe he needs to cheat. Maybe he needs to do all, or whatever. I think that's what we've got. Maybe I got duped.
Because with Paul Heyman, I just see him as he's just a heel manager. He's just a bad manager, and he's a mic piece. And that's one thing that we've always said, and everyone said: Roman sucks on the mic. He just sucks on the mic. He can't sell himself, whether it's good or bad. It comes off wrong, and that smirk. I mean, he's openly talked about that smirk is like a nervous tick. He doesn't. It's not even scripted. He just does it, and it's not supposed to be there, and it ruins his promos. So they were like, you know what, fuck it. We're going to do this thing. We're going to do it different. And because of the whole COVID thing and Brock isn't around, you still have Paul Heyman there. He's no longer doing that managerial running director, whatever title they gave him for Raw role. So it was like, that was the whole thing. What is he going to do? Well, this is it. This is what he's doing. So now he's going to he will be the mouthpiece. He's going to deal with all that. And we're going to see a lot of that. I think it's going to be one of those controlled situations.
Paul Heyman's a face now?
No, it's not that it's a face. He's not a face or a heel. He is just a manager doing what a manager does to get his wrestler over and to get him to the top. That's what I'm saying. I don't see it. It's a gray zone. And that's why I started with this. I don't see Roman Reigns as, we're going traditional babyface, traditional heel. No, he's just out for himself.
So Roman Reigns, who had no problem taking down those two guys on his own.
Like you said, that just had a match that were tired. You said that.
Yes.
Yeah. So now, to prove a point, to prove that that he can take the belt whenever he wants, whether it's at that point or not. And now we're going to have this match. He could have easily said, I'm not doing that match. I'll show up when I feel like it. Am I signing this? Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Get the fuck out of my office. He could have did that. They could have went down that road. They could have did all kinds of things.
All right. So let me ask you a question. And I'm addressing this question to everyone, not just Adam.
Okay.
Roman Reigns committing the act of savagely attacking these two men after they just had...
You really have so much sympathy for this guy. Oh, boy.
The steel chair. Okay, so let me finish. Adding the steel chair and all that stuff. Committing that act and having so much bravado about it. And then Friday having hesitation about signing this contract until he was able to be like, okay, well, now I got this assurance from Paul Heyman. And now I see that it's a no-holds-barred match. Doesn't that seem kind of cowardly to you?
No. We talked about before, confidence. Maybe that we don't know the whole story. Maybe they're going to say some more story that Braun, the reason why he didn't sign, maybe the reason why he didn't sign right away is because Paul Heyman wasn't in the room. We don't know. But is that why you hesitated? He wasn't there. I needed my manager to make sure it was something I should sign.
So I just want to answer that question real quick, and I would love to hear what Dana's answer is. I say coward because when you mentioned the attack with the chairs, normally if a face is going to attack a heel with a steel chair, it's because they were provoked because the heel has already done something to them.
Yes.
These guys did not do anything to Roman Reigns. He just said, "No, this is my yard. I'm taking back control." And I'm just going to attack everybody ruthlessly. Yeah. So I understand why you're saying, yes, this is a heelish move. It's a heel because of the stuff that he's doing. So that's why I say
Oh, man, we saw Steve Austin do it for years, and it was still okay, and he would drink some beers afterwards. It didn't matter who the hell he was swinging and hitting, and he was giving middle fingers. Baby faces, heels, it didn't matter. He was just in that gray zone because he was out for numero uno. And I have a feeling that's what this is. This is just him out for himself. Does that make him a heel if he's just out for himself? I guess if you're into that, but I don't. That's the Moxley syndrome. I see Moxley in the same role. Moxley don't need any friends.
You just made my point for me. You
I hope I did.
Remember, Austin was a solo act. But then one time when he got desperate, when he really needed to get that belt back, you know what he did? He aligned himself with Vince McMahon.
But the problem is that Austin knew how to talk on the mic. That's the weak point. Roman has everything going for him except the mic skills. He needs help with that. He can't do it. And that's when they were like, well, who do we have that can help him with this mic work right now? Who else do you have?
Yeah, use a steel chair.
I think we have Asuka. Asuka could help him on the mic. But besides that,
Asuka.
Damn right. I think when she comes off with the Japanese and the temper and the flair, I think this could probably help. But right now, there's nobody else. Who? There's nobody. This is it.
Well, I absolutely love Paul Heyman working with Roman Reigns. I've been wanting that pairing to happen. In fact, I thought that's what we were going to get a couple of years ago at WrestleMania when you had Roman Reigns go against Brock Lesnar. I thought that they were going to do a double turn there and have Heyman betray Brock to join Roman. It's about time that this allegiance happened.
We wanted him to have a whole crew. Remember? We wanted Baszler to be part of that. We wanted Ronda Rousey. They were going to do that. People that need someone that can talk. This is it. This is what we were hoping for. And that's what he brings to the table, because that's all he brings to the table. Paul Heyman doesn't get involved in matches and does any of that stuff. He's just great on in the ring, in the match, when it comes to doing the promos.
This is definitely a fun discussion, but I do want to kind of wrap this up. And
yeah, we got 4 more hours. Dana, what do you got?
Dana, you back yet? And by the way, my prediction is that Roman Reigns wins.
Roman Reigns.
Dana,
going once, going twice. Sold. Dana is dropped for the count.
I am unmuted.
Oh, she made it.
Can you not hear me?
No, we could not hear you.
Wait, can you really not hear?
We hear you now.
You muted me, Ricardo.
I think Dana.
Yeah, you muted me.
Oh shit! See, that's a heel move right there, Ricky. Look at it. Get to know your heelness. This guy's going to a whole new heel level. He just muted another member of the show. This is how it works.
He muted me the whole time.
Oh shit! All right, but you know what? You're back, and let's wrap this up. We're already 4 hours in. So, who do you have to win this triple threat?
This is awful. All this arguing, I don't even know who
we got. The Fiend, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns.
We have Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, there's no good guys.
Okay, so forget Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman's
This is really between
the Fiend and Roman.
This is between. Okay, can I speak?
You're hearing the echo. That's why you're saying it, 'cause you're hearing this delay. This is what happens when you do remote to.
I'm not hearing an echo. I'm hearing silence.
Continue.
Not hearing any echo. I just couldn't hear anyone else.
Go ahead.
All right, we're having technical difficulties now. There we go. All right, so we went long, but there we go. That's what's happening. We are looking forward to Payback. We'll figure out what's going on with Dana and Mike.
Hold on a second. I know that the show has gone on a little long, but I think we are missing one other important thing that we should definitely speak on very quickly.
Yes, I think I know what it is, but go ahead, Rich.
Now, and this goes to show of how lackluster NXT is when we can't even talk about Super Tuesday next week and who's going to win that Iron Man match. Because no one else was thinking about that. But I was thinking about it when y'all started talking about TakeOver, and I was wondering, when are we going to get to that?
Well, what I was actually going to talk about is Roman Reigns linked to Retribution.
Oh, well, yes.
Well, that's what I brought up, that if he was going to be the leader, but it's pointless now if you have Paul Heyman, because then it's. I don't think he's the leader, only because they didn't come out to help him at SummerSlam at the end. I thought that would have been the moment to make that reveal.
And since they didn't come out, but he did, he's not associated with it. So that pretty much kills that. But we will see Retribution do something at Payback. I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, because they wasn't there tonight. Even they were name dropped, but they wasn't on the show. So,
right. But we should mention, like you said, as Rich mentioned, the big NXT title match between Gargano, Ciampa, Balor, and Adam Cole, and only one of them is going to win that. And who do you think that's going to be?
I'll go with Balor. Fuck it. Why not? He's putting in some time there. He's getting people over. Then again, we all thought, I think that was one that we thought Thatcher was going to walk away with a win. And nope. Balor took him out.
No.
We agreed on that? I don't remember. I thought
I was the only one that said Finn Balor was going to win that match.
You were the only one that said Finn Balor was going to win. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's a coin toss between Balor and Ciampa. But
is Ciampa 100% though? That's the thing. It's like, is he?
He's back. He's back and he's a heel again. And it's just a matter of whether they think that it's time to just put it back on him or not. I think they should give it to Finn Balor because he's been putting in the work, since his return. And he's been, I think they should. I'm picking Balor because I think that's the move they should make. If it's not Balor, though, then it would be Ciampa. So that's just how I see it. I'm going to say Balor, but Ciampa's a possible option.
All right.
I don't think the other two will get it.
Yeah. I actually, I think those are great picks between Ciampa and Balor. I also want to pick Balor because, yes, this is the only guy that hasn't had that NXT World Title for a while. You saw that Ciampa had a run, Gargano has had a run, and of course Adam Cole just finished his run. Yeah. So it would be fun to see Balor get that. The only reason, but I will say this: if Balor does not get that, then clearly they have a plan still for him to have this thing with Walter, because they did announce that the NXT UK event is coming back next month.
Well, so here's a quick way that we could sort of predict the outcome of this. Who do you think was going to be next in line for
Cross?
Cross. Yeah, who do you think was going to be the next in line? We saw Finn won his match. You think it was going to be Ciampa would have just came out and said, "Hey, I want that back"?
Yeah, because before Cross made the announcement that he was relinquishing the belt, they had made an announcement that Ciampa was coming back. He was coming back the same night. So obviously, when they revealed, Cross has to relinquish, that's possibly why you saw the character change also, because up until that point, Ciampa was considered a face when he faced Cross. Now all of a sudden he's a heel because Cross is out.
So if they go with that, then there you go. Ciampa's gonna win. Yeah. Then they can just go down that road. They're like, all right, well, this is not where we wanted to go right away, but we'll just skip over because this dude is hurt. So that whole feud they would have had isn't gonna happen now. Because I really felt that Cross was not going to stay in NXT long. He's too big physically, and Vince loves these big guys, and he would have called him up. So that's just the way Vince is with all these other big dudes. So I really didn't think he was going to stay there long anyway.
Yeah.
So all right. So Dana, are you back?
I am back.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you now. So real quick, who do you have winning this match, main event?
Okay.
Fiend,
really quick.
Yep.
Boom. The triple threat match, right?
Yep.
It's going to easily be Roman Reigns. He has to establish himself, and he is a heel. I don't understand why you don't understand this.
Okay, good. There you go. All right, I don't understand because I've been watching it long. Okay, talk to you later, everybody. We all had fun. Thanks. Keep watching wrestling. Keep listening wrestling.
Hold on. You didn't get Dana's pick for the NXT match.
Yeah. You just steamroll me.
That's it. It's because I got the camera lady. The producer lady keeps waving the finger and looking at her watch, and I'm like, all right, I get it.
Who do we have? Finn Balor versus who?
See, there we go.
It's Finn Balor versus Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, baby.
Iron Man.
Yeah, it's an hour
Iron
minute.
Man. Oh, yes, that one. See, I was confused. I'm like, how did all these guys get called up? Oh gosh, I don't even.
Adam Cole. There you go. Adam Cole.
Adam Cole, but if we can have an interference with Pat McAfee.
All right, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Whether it's on Spotify, on the Koalition, on YouTube, iTunes, all over the damn place. We're everywhere. Friday Night WrestleCast. We cover all the pay-per-views, so we'll see you next time for the next pay-per-view. Which is the next pay-per-view? Isn't it an AEW show?
Yeah, next weekend. All out.
Right? There we go. All right. So we will be back then. So enjoy, watch wrestling. Peace.